This is WCBS and WCBS-FM, New York, your Yankee baseball station. Now you can follow the detailed reports of the World Series by two great insiders. Mickey Mantle and Ken Boyer report the series exclusively for the Journal American. Get the color, spirit, analytical detail, and clubhouse reactions. Mantle's and Boyer's own story, backed up by expert on-the-spot accounts of what happens and why by Jimmy Cannon, famed Journal American sports columnist, and the inside stories by Till Fredenzi, Barney Kremenko, and Murray Robinson. Only in the Journal American can you find this type of all-star World Series reporting. This is the kind of superb sports coverage that over the years has won more readers for the Journal American than for any other New York evening newspaper. For the most expert, most colorful, most exciting coverage of the World Series and every other sporting event, read the Journal American. WCBS time, 1:45.
Hi, everybody. This is Phil Rizzuto with Joe Garagiola, welcoming you to Busch Stadium, St. Louis, and the sixth game of the 1964 World Series. Brought to you by
Gillette, maker of the incomparable Gillette stainless steel blade, the world's sharpest, easiest shaving, #1 in sales by far, and the slim adjustable razor, foamy shaving cream, Right Guard deodorant, and Sun Up aftershave.
And by Chrysler Corporation, makers of the new 1965 Plymouth, Dodge trucks, Chrysler, and Imperial. Today's hosts, Chrysler and Imperial.
For your listening pleasure, Gillette and Chrysler will also bring you, exclusively on NBC Radio, the 1965 Rose Bowl game. In this way, these companies wish to thank you for your support. Well, you couldn't have asked for a more beautiful day for the sixth game of the World Series here in St. Louis, Missouri. The wind will be a very little factor in this ball game. The flags are hanging just about straight down on the top of the roofs here at Busch Stadium. But nevertheless, in batting practice, many balls were hit out of the park, both in left field, left center, and up in the roof in right field. The balls always do carry well here in St. Louis, but the temperature right now close to 75 degrees, and before the game is over, and especially in the sunshine, it's going to be close to 80. So it'll be a perfect day for the game and for both teams. The Yankees, as you know, are down 3-2, and the Cardinals could clinch it today, but Yogi Berra has his team all fired up. The Yankees, who dropped 4 in a row to the Dodgers last year, want to bounce back and get that Yankee supremacy back on top. This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. And any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. The ground crew out there now manicuring the infield around the pitcher's box and home plate. And it looks like the grass has grown a little bit since opening day here at Busch Stadium. And maybe the infield will not be quite as fast as it was for the first 2 games played here at Busch Stadium. Nevertheless, it's still hard, and the ground balls will be going through the infield. Jim Bouton for the Yankees is unlike Mel Stottlemyre, and there'll not be nearly as many ground balls hit off Bouton. Bouton's main forte is to get them to hit the ball up in the air, and that could be dangerous, too, here in this ballpark in St. Louis. On the other hand, Curt Simmons, who, as Joe Garagiola told you, throws a lot of breaking stuff and changes of speeds, gets the opposition to hit the ball on the ground, and that's where the defense comes in. Warming up down the left field foul line is Curt Simmons, the left-hander, who actually has pitched the best game in this World Series so far as statistics are concerned. Simmons, as you know, worked 8 innings and allowed just 4 base hits, giving up just 1 run. He walked 3 and struck out 2. He was not credited with the win or the loss. And Jim Bouton, who right now is not down the right field foul line, taking his unusual way of limbering up before the game, warming up, then resting, and then coming back out and warming up for the last 10 minutes before the start of the ball game. So Bouton will be making his appearance again momentarily. The crowd is still filing in. Give you a rundown of the scores of the other games. In the first game, you remember the Cardinals defeated the Yankees 9-5. Then the Yankees came back here in St. Louis to beat the Cardinals 8-3. In the first game at Yankee Stadium, Mickey Mantle's dramatic home run in the bottom of the ninth inning on the first pitch served up by Barney Schultz gave the Yankees a 2-1 win. But then the Cardinals came back on just as dramatic a home run by Ken Boyer with the bases loaded. And that was an unusual ball game, as the Yankees scored all 3 of their runs in 1 inning and the Cardinals all 4 of their runs in 1 inning. The Cardinals winning that ball game 4-3. And then in the final game in New York, the only game that has gone extra innings thus far, the Cardinals won it 5-2 when Tim McCarver, who has been the hitting star for both sides with a his batting average is .471. He's 8 for 17, and his 3-run homer won it for the Cardinals in the final game at Yankee Stadium. There are 2 fellas who could explode today, Joe, and I guess you know who I mean.
I guess you're thinking, I'm sure, Phil, like Yogi is, White, especially on the St. Louis Cardinals, and Ken Boyer hasn't hit for what they expect, and you might even throw in the name of Brock, although he certainly has been a pesky ball player for the Cardinals. Phil, how about that Maris? He hasn't exploded yet.
No, that's true. Roger Maris has not had an extra base hit in this World Series. And as Joe was saying, if he and Bill White start hitting that ball today, we could see a big scoring ball game. The first 2 games were big scoring games here in this park, but we'll wait and see what happens. And now the 6th game of the 1964 World Series is being brought to you from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It will be Jim Bouton for the Yankees, Curt Simmons for the Cards. That's the big news here today. And the big news around the country is the Gillette World Series Special. And here's the deal. You get 12 sensational Gillette stainless steel blades for only $1.50. You save 28 cents. Now, this means weeks and weeks of quick, easy shaves and downright comfort almost beyond the telling. If you haven't discovered the Gillette stainless for yourself, you'll find out after 1 stroke why it's the #1 seller by far. Gillette guarantees you the best first shave of your life and more superbly comfortable shaves per blade than with any other blade, or your money back from Gillette. And you can depend on it blade after blade, dispenser after dispenser, because Gillette offers uniformity unmatched by any other blade. Save now, get 12 Gillette stainless steel blades for only $1.50, and find out what real shaving luxury is. Well, we have the starting lineups for you. For the New York Yankees, it'll be Phil Linz leading off and playing shortstop. Bobby Richardson will be batting second and playing second base. In center field, hitting third, Roger Maris. Mickey Mantle hitting in the cleanup spot and again playing right field. Doing the catching, as he has in every game thus far, Elston Howard. Ellie will be batting in the 5th position. In left field, batting 6th, Tommy Tresh. At first base, hitting in the 7th position, Joe Pepitone. And these are the only 2 changes that Yogi has made. With a left-hand pitcher going for the Cardinals, he alternates Tresh and Pepitone in the lineup. Clete Boyer will be at third base, hitting 8th. And pitching and batting 9th, the right-hander for the Yankees, Jim Bouton, who has just come out now and is starting to warm up again. For the St. Louis Cardinals, it'll be the speedy Curt Flood leading off and playing center field. And you could say that about just about every hitter in the Cardinal lineup. Lou Brock will be in left field, batting second. Playing first base and hitting third, Bill White. Ken Boyer will be the third baseman, hitting in the cleanup spot. Batting in the 5th position and playing shortstop, Dick Grote. The catcher, Tim McCarver, hitting in the 6th position. Out in right field, batting 7th, will be Mike Shannon. The second baseman, batting 8th, will be Dal Maxville. And pitching and batting 9th, Curt Simmons. In the Cardinal lineup, they just switched Bill White and Dick Grote around with a left-hander on the mound. Otherwise, the Yankees and Cardinals have stayed pat with the lineups, and Joe, I guess they're going with the best they've had just about all year.
Phil, I'm just binoculars looking down left field corner. Did you do that as a player when a pitcher would warm up? It's kind of struck me as funny. Flood ran down to the bullpen to kind of stand in the batter's box and watch Kurt Simmons as he throws the ball to his catcher, Bob Uecker.
I think that's a good idea, Joe, because a lot of times you might be off stride, and you can't figure why. And if you get out there and just time your stride with, even though it's your own pitcher, you get back in the groove just a little bit.
You think it'll help you even though, for example, Simmons is a left-hander and Bouton a hard-throwing right-hander?
Yes, I definitely think of it. Anything that you can do, Joe, as you know, that can help you, you're going to do out there. The men in blue are coming out now, the 6 umpires. And with Al Smith behind the plate today, it means that each umpire has had a chance to call balls and strikes in this series. And this is the first World Series in which the umpires on the foul lines have alternated. In past years, they have just stayed out on the foul lines, and just the 4 umpires at home, first, second, and third would alternate each day. But this year, each one is getting a chance. And, of course, they feel wonderful about it. The umpires feel just like ball players. Getting in a World Series is a big thrill. And there it goes, Joe Garagiola's boyhood chum and lifelong friend, Yogi Berra. Both of them growing up on the hill here in St. Louis. Yogi now managing the Yankees. And Johnny Keane coming out with the lineup cards.
How about that tour I gave you today, huh? Showed you all the old spots?
That's right. Joe drove me from the motel to the ballpark and was pointing out the points of interest where he and Yogi used to play stickball in the streets, soccer in the streets, football in the streets. Didn't they have any fields out here, Joe?
No, we used to play between parked cars.
Well, of course, we did that in New York, too. And
I was going to say, you were born rich, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you played in big fields. And...
No, but I just thought out in the Midwest they had more open spaces than back east, Joe. But I guess these are 2 of the quietest managers that have ever been in World Series play, Joe.
That they are. They just let the players do it. They do it pretty simply. Just let the ball players, here's the bat, here's the ball, go get him, guys.
The umpires are moving to their positions. And out in front of home plate right now, ready to sing the national anthem will be Lisa Drake. The color guard out in short center field with the flags flying in front of them, ready now, and we're ready now for our national anthem.
KSD TV's noon show, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets thrilled clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Right now, we pause 10 seconds for station identification.
The Ivy League football game of the week, Cornell versus Harvard, this Saturday at 1:40 p.m. on WCBS and WCBS-FM, New York.
And now we bring you the star of last night's Tonight Show, Joe Garagiola.
Without the python. How about that
Joe,
Carson?
you showed me something last night. When that python came out, I jumped back 10 feet and I was watching on TV.
I was hiding behind Skitch Henderson. Yes, sir, it's a big ball game here in St. Louis. And Jim Bouton against Curt Simmons. Boy, all the ball players, as Phil and I were on the field before the game, all talking about the background here. If you're not familiar with the background in center field, they call it Busch Gardens, as it is a green background, well, a lot of shrubbery back there, and I tell you, it just sort of magnifies the ball. In Yankee Stadium, the ball players with the spectators out there having some problems picking up the baseball, but here in batting practice, they were really popping them out of here. Curt Simmons spots that ball. He doesn't have any trick pitches. He's in and out, up and down, lets up a little bit on a curveball. He'll turn his fastball over, much to give the effect of a screwball. It's not a big, quick-breaking ball that he throws when he turns that fastball over, but he uses it for a double play pitch to get that ground ball. Bouton, a fastball, a curveball, a slider. There go the Cardinals on the field. And this crowd, many of them rising to their feet as they show their appreciation for the tremendous battle that this club has put up all year long, bouncing back to win the National League pennant. And here they are with the game lead on the Yankees. When they returned from New York, the airport was just jammed with St. Louis Cardinal fans, and it ended up that Johnny Keane, manager Johnny Keane, Bob Gibson, and Tim McCarver all had to make speeches. And now it's a sixth game. It's the Yankees who have their backs up against that wall against Simmons. Simmons won't strike out many. In fact, in the ball game that he pitched, Simmons didn't strike out a man until the seventh inning when he struck out Clete Boyer. In fact, for the whole ball game, he struck out two. And if you're a box score guy where you follow the ball games by checking the box score, Jim Bouton, and Phil mentioned it about how many fly balls are hit, in his ball game, 15 of the outs that were made in the air, 9 ground balls. So if he's got his good fastball, you'll see a lot of fly balls. So it takes that good live fastball and a good fast outfield. The grass is a little high. The infield is harder than Yankee Stadium, but Bill White makes the point that you get a good true hop here, so if you expect the ball to come off that grass quickly, you won't have any problems. Simmons has finished his warm-up tosses. Phil Linz is in that batter's box. Linz has 4 base hits in this World Series. They play him straight away. Chokes up on that bat. Right-handed hitter. A pesky little guy. And here's the first pitch of the ball game. Swung on, line drive, left field. Lou Brock comes in fast, makes the grab. So there is 1 out. That leadoff hitter, a lot of times, Phil, you guys like to jump on it first when you don't want that pitcher to get ahead of you at all.
No, and you figure at the start of the game he's going to lay that first one in there.
Do you go for the long ball, or you just...
Some guys do, Joe.
1 out, and here is Bobby Richardson. Bobby Richardson with 9 base hits in this series. Shortens up as if the bunt takes it low, and it's ball 1. Al Smith of the American League is a home plate umpire. At first base is Frank Sikori. Bill McKinley of the American League is at second base, and Ken Burkhardt of the National League at third base. The pitch to Richardson is high and outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Down the left field line from the American League, it's Hank Soar. In right field, it's Vinnie Smith of the National League. Umpires rotating this year. 2-0 pitch by Simmons to Richardson. Swung on, hot smash, left field, that's a base hit. Richardson is on. And the first 2 Yankee hitters having real good cuts at Simmons. Linz hit the ball hard. He was out on a line drive to Brock, but now Richardson lines a single between Boyer and Grote. He's on. Here's Roger Maris. Maris has 4 base hits in the World Series, as they've been doing the whole time here. The Cardinal infield is not over shift. They play Maris to pull that ball. The pitch, swung on. A foul tip held on to by McCarver. It's strike one. Flood is in deep right center field. Mike Shannon is back in right field. It's 3:10 down the line here in St. Louis. 3:54 in the slot in right center field. There goes Richardson. Here's the throw to second base. It is not in time. It's a stolen base for Bobby Richardson as the curveball went outside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Richardson with the stolen base. So you'll never know until the game is over, but it looks like Yogi may have had a little bit of a pep talk before this ball game. As these guys are coming out of the chute right now. Bobby Richardson on at second base with the stolen base. 1 ball, 1 strike to count on Maris. Fouls it back, and it's strike 2.
Joe, that was only the second stolen base of the series. The Yankees have both of them. Clete Boyer had the other one, and the Cardinals, who are really fast, though they haven't had to, have not had a stolen bases yet. Check that. Bill White got one at Yankee Stadium.
Struck him out. Maris is out on strikes. At White stolen base, Phil, was kind of a delayed action.
Yeah.
You don't really consider that a stolen base. Statistics it is. But you remember White was trapped on a bunt play and had no place to go, so he went to third, and nobody knew what to do, so they said, give him a stolen base and send him home. Mickey Mantle up there batting right-handed, 2 men out. And they play Mantle straight away. In fact, Flood is directly in line with the bag at second base. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. And it's strike 1. Ball game just getting underway. Bobby Richardson is at second base. He's single, stole second. Maris is just going out on strikes, and Mantle's up there with the count of strike 1. Kurt Simmons. Taking plenty of time. Ready. The pitch. Outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Simmons in and out with that ball, up and down. He'll put a little on, take a little off, give you Uncle Charlie. He knows all the tricks. He's not going to give you that good ball to hit unless he absolutely has to, and then he's not too sure about it. He may just call time and make a telephone call. Here's the pitch. It's a strike. Caught that outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Kurt Simmons, a cool customer out there. He pinches that rosin bag, studies the target. Richardson leading off second base. Now we're ready. And here's the pitch. Fastball inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He tried to throw that ball by him. You know, pitching is keeping that hitter off stride. And that Simmons, he pitches like he's changing gears all the time. He's going 20 miles, then 30, then 40, back to 10, up to 80. He's constantly changing speeds. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bobby Richardson at second base. Ball game just underway. Here's the pitch to Mantle. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. So Simmons gets 2 strikeouts in the very first inning here. And that ends the inning. So the score is the Yankees nothing and St. Louis coming to bat. You know, one of the unsung heroes for the Cardinals is certainly pinch hitter Carl Warwick. He's been up 4 times. He's been on base 4 times. And that's what I'd call a perfect performance. And talk about perfection. Here's the way to get a perfect shave. The cleanest, quickest, easiest shave in the world. How? Well, let's go. First, splash on lots of hot water. Really wet those whiskers. And to make them even wetter, moisture-rich Gillette Foamy, regular or menthol. The only leading shaving cream with K34, hexachlorophene, antiseptic. And now, the incomparable Gillette stainless steel blade. The easiest first shave of your life. Yes, Gillette guarantees you the best first shave and more superbly comfortable shaves per blade than with any other blade, or your money back from Gillette. Quite a statement, quite a shave. Then top it off with crisp, refreshing Gillette Sun-Up Aftershave. Smells better, feels better. Man, you put on a happy face, and you feel as good as you look. Kurt Simmons, able to get Maris and Mantle on strikes. Out of the inning, and now it's Kurt Flood to lead it off for the St. Louis Cardinals. Flood, Brock, and White. Jim Bouton And Phil, I'll promise it, if you'll promise it, I'm not going to mention how many times his hat falls off.
Okay, Joe. One thing I wish you would tell me, I've been with you now for a week. What's the Uncle Charlie pitch?
A slow curveball.
Oh.
When he lets up on it, the one that makes the shoestring snap.
Okay.
There's a strike, a fastball. Man, you've heard catchers. Tebbets used to holler that all the time. Put a little on, take a little off, and give him Uncle Charlie.
I never knew what it was.
Well, they got you out with fastballs, huh? There's a fastball outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. They play Flood straight away. This Flood can really fly. Brock, White, Boyer, all good speed. Tapped foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Beautiful day. It's a high sky, though. They want to look at the baseball again. Bouton rolls it in. Al Smith takes a look at it. You flip it out. Boyer at third, lends it short. Richardson at second base, Pepitone at first base. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The count on Flood. Bouton ready the pitch. A let up, swung on, line drive, base hit, left field. Up with the ball is Tresh, bobbles it, Flood. Holds up at first, though, as Tresh gets that ball right back in a hurry. On the very first changeup that Bouton threw, Flood drilled it past Boyer, so he's on at first base. That brings up Lou Brock. Boyer at third base comes in a couple steps at third to protect against the bunt. Brock backs out now. Flood a good lead at first base. Here's a pitch. Swung on, line drive, base hit, center field. Up with the ball is Maris. Flood digging for third. The throw goes into second. It's first and third, and Bill White's the hitter. Lou Brock really sent one back up the middle, and second base umpire Bill McKinley really had to go scooting and scampering to get out of the way. So nobody out. At third base, Curt Flood. At first base, it's Lou Brock, and the hitter is Bill White. The infield back looking for the double play. They'll give him a run for 2 outs. They play White to pull that ball. Bouton taking plenty of time now. He's in a jam in a hurry. Both these ball clubs, they've battled all year for this World Series, the World Championship. Yankees have to win. The Cardinals win. They clinch it. Ready now. Bouton checks the runners, and here's a throw to first base. Not in time, just kind of a lob throw. More of a commercial by Bouton to let Brock know that he's thinking about him. The delivery. Fastball is low, and it's ball 1. The Yankee bullpen in action. A right-hander, Sheldon, begins to loosen up. One ball, no strikes. Bill White, the hitter, a left-handed hitter, waits. Lead by Flood and Brock. The pitch swung on. Hot smash to Richardson. He's got it. The Linz, 1 out to first base. Double play. And Curt Flood scores on the double play, so the Cardinals lead 1-0. White hits into a double play from Richardson to Linz to Pepitone. No run batted in on that play. And here is Ken Boyer. St. Louis 1, and the New York Yankees nothing. Boyer with 3 base hits in the series. Takes a curveball high, and it's ball 1. Of course, one of the base hits he got, the big grand slam home run that he hit in that 4th game. Fly ball, left field. Back goes Tresh. He's there. Got room. Makes the play. So, Boyer flies to Tresh to end the first inning. And the score is St. Louis 1, New York nothing. Talking about Ken Boyer, Sunday, he won the game with the Grand Slam homer. Monday, he set up the winning rally with a bunt. Now, that was quite a switch, and it paid off. And here's a move that will really improve your day. Sun Up Aftershave. Start your day with new Gillette Sun Up, and man, you'll put on a happy face. Sun Up smells better, feels better, it's manlier. Right now, you can get a free sample bottle when you buy this Gillette World Series special. The adjustable razor with the exclusive 9-position micrometer dial that lets you select the blade angle that matches your skin and beard exactly. Also, it contains a dispenser of sensational Gillette stainless steel blades, the only stainless blades engineered to fit this razor exactly. And every blade is guaranteed to give you the best first shave of your life. And more just like it, every blade, than with any other blade, or your money back from Gillette. Adjustable razor with Gillette stainless steel blades plus a free sample of crisp, refreshing Sun Up. Just $1.50. Top half of the second inning, 1-0. The St. Louis Cardinals out in front. Alston Howard leads it off. Howard, 5 base hits in this series so far, hitting .313, 5 for 16. Kurt Simmons, the left-hander, gets his sign from young Tim McCarver. It's low and it's ball 1. The pitch. A let up. Popped up. Out goes Maxwell. In comes Flood. Who's going to make the play? Maxwell at second base. In short center field, made the play. A let up. Howard popped it up into short center field, and Flood and Maxwell, either one of them could have made the play. Maxwell finally made the play, and there's 1 out.
Joe, when you got those infielders that can go back and get those Texas leaguers, it allows the outfielders to play a little deeper, and that is really great.
Boy, those couple steps on those long shots really do make the difference. They got a couple good ones on both ball clubs. Here is Tom Tresh, batting right-handed. He takes a fastball in the outside corner. It's strike 1. Simmons with that good control. He won't walk many. A let up. You could hear the crowd ooh and ah as they could see Tom Tresh leaning. Simmons with that delivery of his, he hides that ball well. Another let up. This one bounced down to third baseman Ken Boyer. He's got it over to White in time. And that brings up Joe Pepitone. The last time that Pepitone faced Simmons, he was leaning over the plate, and Simmons moved him back. Joe Pepitone. The Cardinal fans remember when Pepitone was hit by that pitched ball. And they still don't believe it. Strike 1. You can almost tell by the crowd reaction just exactly what's happening. Simmons with the fastball that time. Ready now. The pitch. Low. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, they talk about your pitching delivery helping you. This Simmons, he gives you a lot of motion. You see nothing but fingernails, elbows, and kneecaps when he starts to throw. Flicks that glove. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Line drive, right field. Mike Shannon going back, leaps, makes the catch. A one-handed grab by Mike Shannon to take away a base hit from Joe Pepitone. Nice play by the youngster in right field, Mike Shannon. Crowd appreciates it. Ends the inning, and the score is St. Louis 1 and New York 0. Who's been using my right guard? Well, many a man has been asking that question lately. Well, today the whole family is using Gillette Right Guard Power Spray Deodorant because nothing touches you but the spray itself. It's always your own personal deodorant, and 2 seconds gives you 24-hour protection. Right Guard's not a gummy roll-on, not a messy cream. It's a refreshing mist, cool and gentle, dries on contact. And remember, nothing touches you but the spray itself. Seems like families everywhere are switching to Right Guard because today it's America's #1 deodorant. And while we're talking about outstanding products, how about that Gillette stainless steel blade? Gillette guarantees the best first shave of your life and more superbly comfortable shaves every blade than with any other blade, or your money back from Gillette. Discover for yourself the matchless uniformity of Gillette stainless steel blades. Dick Grote will be the leadoff man here for the Cardinals in the bottom half of the second inning. 1-0, St. Louis leading. If you've just joined us, Flood opened with a base hit to left field. Brock singled to center, Flood stopping at third. Bill White hit into a double play from Richardson to Linz to Pepitone, and Flood scored while they were making that double play, and then Boyer flied out to end the first inning. So it's 1-0, bottom of the second, Dick Grote against Jim Bouton. Bouton delivers. Strike. A high fastball and a good one.
It seems to me that, that Grote is always hitting with at least 1 or 2 strikes on him.
He wants to measure that pitcher, I believe, Phil. He wants to see his best fastball and then go from there. Here's one that stays high, 1-1. He's got such good control of that strike zone that he's one of those guys, he doesn't care to spot that pitcher a strike if he can get some information from it. Foul back, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. They play Grote. They shade him towards right field. Center fielder Maris is on the second base side in the outfield. He's over in right center. There's a lot of room in left center field. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The wind is not a factor here. The 1-2 pitch by Bouton. Fastball. He got him looking. Dick Grote goes back to the bench, and that's always the longest walk in baseball. That bat weighs about 99 ounces when you get called out on strikes. Tim McCarver, listen to the hand. Alston Howard was talking about both Shannon and McCarver before the game. He said, we got a pretty good book on everybody. See what we're doing to White, Brock, Boyer, but that McCarver and Shannon. Hot shot, right field, base hit. McCarver's on there again. And for McCarver, that's his 9th base hit. 9 for 18. And boy, even if you sit in the back of the room, you know that's 500. 9 for 18. So here is Mike Shannon now with McCarver on at first base. Phil, he is really rapping that ball.
He is red hot, and you always get 1 or 2 guys that get red hot in the World Series, Joe, and they can carry a club.
McCarver has been doing that. Shannon has 4 base hits in this series. Right-handed hitter. McCarver leads off. The pitch. A strike. Shannon started the swing, held up. Now he's asking to see whether it was a swinging strike or if it was good enough to be called a strike. Either way, it's still up there, strike 1. Taking a good look at Coach Vern Benson at third base. They've got good speed. McCarver can run. He's not like most catchers who run with suction cups on their shoes. He can move. Outside, 1-1. Benson going through a lot of signs. Tell you, if McCarver would get a steal sign, shock wouldn't set in. It's not unusual. 1-0, Cardinals leading, bottom of the second. McCarver leading off, Shannon waiting. Good lead by McCarver. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up right side. Foul ball, out of play. One ball, 2 strikes. 1 out. Breeze blowing towards right field. 1-0. St. Louis leading, bottom of the second. This is the 6th game. Cardinals could win the World Championship by beating the Yankees. Yankees battling back to tie it up and go into that big 7th game. McCarver leading off first base. Pepitone holding him close. Bouton ready. Shannon waits. The pitch. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Once again, Shannon taking a look at Benson. He's not looking for any sign for himself. He just wants to know if something's going on with McCarver. Because with 2 strikes, it's protect that plate. Shannon going through his calisthenics. He comes from that Colavito school of hitting. Here's the 2-2 pitch now. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Bouton with a good fastball gets Shannon. That's his second strikeout. And it brings up Del Maxwell. This little guy has really done a job for the Cardinals. He is filling in for the injured Julian Javier, and what a big disappointment for Javier, as it is, of course, for Tony Kubek, who's out for the Yankees. Fly ball, right field. It's curving foul in the stands. There'll be no play. Mantle was over there. Kubek's place on the roster taken by young Mike Hegan. Kubek Ramos, of course, is out. He was not eligible, although he did such a fine job for the Yankees coming down the stretch. And Javier thought he might be able to play, but he was only used as a pinch hitter, so Maxwell is getting a chance, and he has been doing quite a job. McCarver leading off first, the pitch. Strike is called, a curveball. 2 strikes, the count on Del Maxwell. In the outfield, shades Maxwell towards the right field line. No balls, 2 strikes. McCarver at first base. 1-0 St. Louis leading. We're in the bottom of the second. Bouton delivers. Fastball. Right center field. Mantle is going over, calling for the ball. Makes the play. A little fly ball hit by Maxwell. Mantle hauls it in. And that ends the inning, so the score is St. Louis 1 and New York 0.
To look and feel sharp, use the stainless blade that outsells all the others made. Get 12 blades while the price is low. It's a special from Gillette. Let's go.
Here's your opportunity to save 28 cents and get weeks of shaving comfort. It's a Gillette World Series special. 2 6-blade dispensers. That's 12 incomparable Gillette stainless steel blades for just $1.50. Now's the time for you men who may not have tried this sensational blade to find out why it's the #1 seller by far. You're guaranteed the best first shave and more superbly comfortable shaves every blade than with any other blade, or your money back from Gillette. 12 stainless steel blades for only $1.50. You save 28 cents.
Get 12 blades while the price is low. It's a special from Gillette. Let's go.
Top half of the third inning. 1-0 St. Louis leading. Red Shanedane's Cardinal coach is out warming up Simmons. Clete Boyer will lead it off. Did you see that whole Boyer family here, Phil? Looked like a meeting of the fan club, didn't it?
Oh, they got a lot of them. They had quite a few athletes in their family. Wonderful feeling for the mom and dad to watch their both youngsters in action. Wonder who they're rooting for.
Boy, if they're like all mothers and dads, just hope that the youngsters don't get hurt.
Right.
Here is Clete. Clete has 3 base hits so far in this series. He's taken a couple base hits away from Ken. Here's a pitch by Simmons. Strike. In the outside corner. One strike to count. The pitch. Popped up. Out goes Grote. In comes Flood. Flood calling for the ball in short center field and makes the play. 1 out. So there's 1 out, and it brings up Jim Bouton. Bouton, a right-handed hitter. He swings that bat. Remember in the other ball game, he even attempted a bunt. So you got to be alive for anything with Bouton in that batter's box. 1-0, St. Louis leading. We're at the top of the third. Simmons delivers. Low, ball 1. Al Smith, the American League, is behind the plate. The pitch. Strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Jim Bouton, the hitter. Nobody on, 1 out, 1-0. St. Louis leading, top of the third. The 1-1 pitch now. Foul tip. It got McCarver. McCarver hit on the hand. He appears to be all right. He's just walking around Al Smith. That stings, boy. McCarver just taking his time now. Bob Bowman, a Cardinal trainer. It numbs your hand is what it does. McCarver just waiting now. This kid's got a lot of bulldog in him. He won't want to leave. Bob Bowman out there now as McCarver takes a look. Bob says, well, you might have a little trouble turning on the radio tonight, but you'll be all right. McCarver's going to stay in that game. And you notice that, Phil? If that had been an infielder or an outfielder, it'd have been oxygen tents and everything out there. The only thing comes out there is a trainer, and poor catcher stands there and talks to the umpire.
That's the roughest spot in baseball behind that plate.
Fearless, underpaid leaders, all of them. Now they're going to check the count here, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. And we're ready to go. High, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And McCarver rubs that hand in the dirt. No L'Oreal. Here's the 2-2 pitch now by Simmons. High, and it's ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The crowd doesn't like that at all because Simmons, known for his control, has fallen behind Bouton 3-2. Simmons ready, 3-2 pitch now. Struck him out. That is the 3rd strikeout for Kurt Simmons. And it brings up Phil Linz, who lined hard to Lou Brock in left field his first time up. Simmons struck out 2 in the other ball game. So far today, he has struck out 3. He's given up 1 hit. That was a base hit by Richardson. Linz waits. Curveball is low. A big, slow, roundhouse curveball. You could count the stitches on that baby as it came up there. Strike is called on the outside corner. Simmons is amazing. A great lesson for the fellow who thinks that maybe his career is about to end. He was a hard thrower when he came up, and Simmons made himself a fine pitcher. Here's the 1-1 pitch. High, ball 2. They play Linz straight away. 1-0, St. Louis leading, top of the 3rd. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Phil Linz. Strike, a let-up. When he's getting behind those hitters, and 2-1 is considered behind for Simmons, he is letting up, and both on his fastball and his curveball, he's changing speeds. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, popped up foul, out of play. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Many times you hear a fella talk about a change of pace, he'll talk about a straight change, or let up a little bit on his fastball. Simmons can do that off his fastball, off his curveball, and he'll turn it over a little bit and give you the effect of a screwball, especially to the right-handed hitter. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Phil Linz, the hitter. 1-0, St. Louis leading. Let up. Struck him out. He took something off the pitch again. And that's 4 strikeouts for Kurt Simmons as the Yankees go down 1-2-3. So the score is St. Louis 1 and New York 0. Men, wouldn't you like to start the day with the best shave in the world? The quickest, easiest shave a man can get? Here's how. All you need is hot water, lots of it, and then the shaving cream that supersaturates your beard throughout your shave. Extra rich Gillette Foamy. America's only leading shaving cream that cleanses your skin with K34, hexachlorophene, antiseptic while you shave. And to look sharp and feel sharp, use the Gillette stainless steel blade. Gillette guarantees you the best first shave of your life and more superbly comfortable shaves every blade than with any other. Or your money back from Gillette. Clean, close shaves, blade after blade after blade. And for a perfect ending, Gillette's crisp new Sun-Up. Smells better, feels better. Splash on a dash, and you put on a happy face. Matchless shaving comfort from Gillette, the people who know men best. The crowd giving Curt Simmons a nice hand here. Phil, you've seen this Simmons in 2 ball games now. He has almost changed his style completely in that he's throwing looks like more change of paces now.
That's right, Joe. Well, in Yankee Stadium, you had the benefit of the bad background. And here you can see the ball a little better, so he's not throwing that high, hard one too often.
Not a bad hitter. He's up there now against Bouton. He takes it high, ball 1. He sprays that ball to left field. Remember, he got a base hit to drive in a run off Boyer's glove. He helps himself, this Simmons. Not a bad fielder, pretty good hitter. Waits. There's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-0. St. Louis leading. Bottom half of the 3rd inning. Jim Bouton against Curt Simmons. 6th game of the World Series. Curveball is high. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count. Base hit by Flood, a base hit by Brock. White hit into a double play. Flood scoring. And that's how we stand, 1-0. 2-1 pitch. Strike. You can hear that Al Smith all the way up here. You know, an umpire very rarely says strike or ball. They all have their own ways, and I know Smith gives you that for a strike. So 9 innings of that, and you're in pretty good shape for anything. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Line drive, base hit up the middle. Curt Simmons sends a fastball right back up the middle. And there are 4 pigeons out here who've been in right center field all day, and that ball just broke up that meeting of the pigeons out there. So they just move over into right center. Time is called now. As the bat boy goes out with a jacket. And this game has become so specialized, they have a light jacket and a heavy jacket. And since it's only 25 minutes to 2, Simmons will go to the light jacket. If he goes to the heavy jacket, with the wind not blowing, it could be... You don't agree with me, Phil, huh?
I'm listening, Joe. Very interesting.
I can just hear some of those older fellows say, when I was playing, boy, the game was tough. We didn't even use hard helmets. Just let our hair grow. Here we go now. Simmons is well dressed at first base. Here comes Boyer in at 3rd looking for a bunt. Flood waits. The pitch. High. Ball 1. Flood can handle that bat. Benson going through all kinds of signs. They're still looking for the bunt. Flood can bunt and beat it out for the base hit. He's got that great speed. Nobody out. 1-0. St. Louis out in front. Simmons on at first. Bouton at the belt. Checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Flood's going to bunt. Takes it outside. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Takes a look at Vern Benson again. Benson going through all the signs. Two balls and no strikes. It could switch off. Flood a leadoff man. Keene can do many a thing here. Bunt. Have him taken, sneak a base on balls. Here's the pitch. Takes it low. Ball 3. So it's 3 balls, no strikes. Jim Bouton with Simmons at first base. Flood didn't even look at Benson this time because you don't think he's hitting, do you?
Oh, he'd be taken. They'd like to take that bat away from him to make sure.
Bouton ready. Simmons leads off. Here's the pitch. Strike is called. Taken all away, so it's 3 balls, 1 strike. Now Flood once again checks down there. Yankee bullpen busy. Sheldon up again. 3 balls, 1 strike. Simmons at first base. Pepitone holding him close. The pitch. Swung on. Fly ball. Right center field. Mantle and Maris. Who's going to make the play? It is... Hey! Roger Maris cut in front of Mickey Mantle and caught that ball almost in right field. Looked like Mantle was going to make the play. He was waiting for it, and then Maris just came swooping across and made the play. So, almost a collision, but Flood is out, and here is Lou Brock.
But, Joe, you know, all year, Mantle, with that bad knee, Maris has been taking everything he can get to, and I guess he figured Mickey wasn't going to get over there.
That was really a right fielder's ball, so apparently it's one of those plays they've made up before the game that he's going to get everything he can. Here is Brock with the first pitch for a base hit. Swings and fouls it off, a high curveball. And it's strike one. Jim Bouton with the count of strike one on Lou Brock. Simmons is at first base. Pepitone is playing behind him. Boyer at third base still doesn't think that Brock is swinging away. He's in about 5 steps at third base. Clete Boyer really challenges these hitters to come on, hit it my way as he comes right in on top of them. The pitch. Swung on and missed, and he had a good cut at a fastball. As Bouton challenged him with the fastball, he just doesn't give in. Bouton, a tough competitor. One of those fidgety guys, constantly fidgeting around with the uniform. Gives you the feeling that the coat hanger is still in his shirt. 2 strikes. The count on Lou Brock. Simmons leads off. Here's the pitch. Fouled off, out of play. So the count remains at strike 2. Remember Lou Burdett? The way he used to fidget around. Fred Haney had that great description. Said he could thread a sewing machine while it was turned on. Boy, that's pretty fidgety. 2 strikes. Brock waits. The pitch. Whoa! Spins him around like a yo-yo inside. It's ball 1. Jim Bouton moves him back. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1-0. St. Louis out in front. We're in the bottom of the third. Kurt Simmons is at first base. He got a base hit. Flood flied out to Roger Maris, and that's where we stand. And Bouton ready. The pitch. A little looper, center field. Maris is digging hard, in fast. A one-handed grab. Here's a throw to first base. It is not in time, and Bouton makes a fine play as he protects the play. That ball would have rolled into the dugout, but Bouton, very alertly backing up the play, kept that ball from going into the dugout. A tremendous play by the youngster. And, Phil, how many times have you seen a pitcher turn spectator on that play and just stand on the mound?
Quite often, Joe, and especially backing up first base, because actually Bouton didn't know whether Maris was going to catch that ball tonight, and he might have had to go over and back up third base if the ball got by Roger Maris in center field.
That's right. If it's a base hit, it's the play's at third base, so he had a decision to make. He made the right one, and he saved himself some trouble. 2 outs, and Bill White is the hitter. White hit into a double play, hit the ball sharply at Bobby Richardson. Flood scored as White was being thrown out. Simmons still at first base. Pepitone behind the runner. Here's the pitch. Inside, and it's ball 1. Boy, you like to see that pitcher bounce around like that. It just makes your whole club just look so much better. Half the time the pitcher stands there like he's, got a reserve seat or something, watching the game. White swings at a high fastball, had a good cut, missed it. Boy, if nothing else, that'll loosen up every bone in your body. The manager likes to see that hitter take that kind of a cut, especially with 2 outs where he's looking for that long ball. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Bouton ready. Inside, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Elston Howard behind the plate. This guy's some catcher. His pitchers never look wild. Just kind of sits back there. 2-1 pitch. Bouncing ball. Pepitone, a nice grab, one-handed, flips to Bouton. It is in time, and White is out on a fine play. Pepitone to Bouton. So the score is St. Louis 1, New York 0. Want the cleanest, easiest shaves in the world? The best first shave of your life? Try the Gillette stainless steel blade, and you'll find out after 1 stroke why it's the #1 seller by far. Yes, Gillette guarantees you the best first shave of your life. and more just like it, every blade, than with any other blade, or your money back from Gillette. Here's superb shaving satisfaction, blade after blade, dispenser after dispenser. The Gillette stainless sets a new standard for shaving comfort. See for yourself. We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Now there are two CD2 oil additives. CD2 oil treatment restores lost power to old cars. CD2 oil treatment frees sticky valves in new cars. Ask about the CD2 Star Spectacular record album with top MGM stars. A $3.98 value, only $1 at selected service stations. Keep your car new with CD2 from Alamite Division of Stuart Warner. Ivy League football Saturday on WCBS and WCBS-FM, New York.
Bobby Richardson to lead it off. Phil, you've been listening to the press box announcement. Pretty interesting.
30,805 people here again, Joe, and that's all 3 games played here at Busch Stadium. Have been the exact amount here each day for each game.
Isn't that something? That could be a World Series record. Same number of people attending the same number of games. Bobby Richardson now. Richardson, the only base hit off Simmons. He singled to left, then stole second, but then Maris and Mantle went out. Simmons is ready, and here's the pitch. Swung on and popped up. Foul territory. Bill White over near the dugout. McCarver is there. Do they have room? No. Foul ball. Bill White and the Yankee bench jockeying back and forth. McCarver, when he flips that mask off, he really gets it out of the way. He had thrown that mask way back near the screen behind home plate. He's not about to step on it. 1 strike the count. Bobby Richardson, the hitter. Top of the 4th, St. Louis 1, and New York nothing. Simmons is ready. The pitch. Swung on, a hot smash, base hit, center field, a slow curveball, and Richardson timed that ball perfectly, and he's got himself another base hit, and Richardson has 11 base hits in this series. So Bobby Richardson is on at first base. Roger Maris is the hitter. Maris was out on strikes his first time up, right down on the end of that bat. Outfield swung around. White holds a base runner close. Here's a lob throw. Was not a good move by Simmons. Sometimes a pitcher will do that when that ball doesn't feel exactly right. Here's a pitch. Didn't mean to swing, hits his bat foul. Upper deck. And a youngster got it. Good deal. Life's brightest moment right there. A couple of the men around there, they booted the ball around. The youngster just waited for it, and he grabbed it. Here's a pitch. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boyer's about even with the bag. He's wide of the bag. Grote shades towards the bag at shortstop. Maxwell is over, trying to protect against the hole between first and second. White holds the runner close. The pitch swung on and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That was a fastball, and he got it by him. The outfield, Brock is in a normal left field position. Flood is shaded in right center. Shannon is back in right field. The gap is in left center field. 1-2 pitch now. Outside. 2-2. When Simmons turns that ball loose after changing speeds, it looks like it's really coming up there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Base runner at first is Bobby Richardson. 1-0. The Cardinals are leading. Top of the 4th. Pitch. High. Ball 3. Now, what do you do, Coach? Rossetti at third base is going through the signs. Maris wants to know if Richardson is running or holding. Stay away from the double play if they start him, but if they strike him out, the chance, we'll watch. Richardson's holding. The pitch is swung on, popped up. Foul territory. Down the first base line. Bill White giving chase. He does not have room. Foul ball. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Richardson was not running. Richardson singled and stole second in the first inning. 1-0, top of the fourth. St. Louis out in front. Simmons taking plenty of time. Bobby Richardson leads off first base. Bill White holds him close. Here's the pitch. There goes Richardson. Swung on, popped up. Bill White at first base in foul territory. Has plenty of room. Makes the play. Richardson gets back to first. You could see White take a look at Richardson as he was getting the beat on the pop foul. Many times the infielder will decoy you, and you go sliding into second.
That's right, Joe. And Bobby, an exceptionally good base runner, always takes that little last second look at the hitter as he swings to see where it's going. A lot of runners run with their head down, and it's an easy double play.
You just can't trust those infielders on that guy's running, boy. They really turn Shakespearean actors. They'll fake a ground ball, and you go sliding in, and then you look up, whoops, the first baseman's making a play on a pop fly. Here is Mickey Mantle. 1 out, the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Richardson at first base. That's how you can usually tell if it's a straight steal or a hit-and-run play, too. If it's a straight steal, he'll run with his head down. On the hit-and-run play, he'll watch the hitter. And if the ball is hit, he'll follow the ball. Mantle waits, the pitch. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes now. Mantle batting right-handed. He hit that tremendous home run batting left-handed off Barney Schultz. He's had a great year for the Yankees batting right-handed. He's got Simmons 2 balls and no strikes now. 1 out. Here's the pitch. He didn't mean to swing. Taps it. Bill White at first base has it. Flips to Grote. Out at second. Back to first. Not in time. Mantle beat the return throw. Mantle trying to hold up on that pitch. The ball hit his bat. It got by Simmons. White made a fine play. Flipped to Grote. The force was on Bobby Richardson, but the return throw was not in time, and Mantle is at first base with 2 outs and Elston Howard, the hitter.
Joe, that Bill White was better than halfway between first and second base when he fielded that ball. You talk about cat-like movements. He's got him out there.
And, he's not afraid to throw that ball to get the lead guy, Phil. Sometimes a guy, he'll get the ball and he'll look, and then he'll play safety first.
He fired that to Grote.
Here is Elston Howard. Strike is called a fastball in that outside corner. There are 2 outs. Mickey Mantle at first base. Howard popped out to Del Maxwell on a let-up curveball his first time up. Mantle leads off the pitch. Foul tip. And a strike 2. McCarver held on to it. So it's 2 strikes, no balls, 2 outs. Base runner at first is Mickey Mantle. 1-0, top of the fourth. Howard, a big spread stance, swinging a 38-ounce bat. Holds that bat high. Here's a 2-strike pitch now. Way outside, ball 1. He couldn't hit that with a 38-ounce, 38-foot bat. Way out there. Simmons just kind of wasting that pitch. Wasting it to the point that he's trying to set up his next one. Here's a pitch. Inside, ball 2, in and out. This guy's got an idea, boy. He wouldn't give you yesterday's paper, this Simmons. Two balls and 2 strikes to count. He's ready. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 3. That's the one he wanted something to happen on. It didn't, and it gives Mickey Mantle about 4 extra steps at first base because with 2 outs, he can start to run the minute Simmons starts for the plate. Most pitchers like to see that pitch of decision on 2-2 rather than 3-2. Mantle certainly fast enough to score on that long single now. Simmons ready. The pitch. Fouled off. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. That was a fastball. He got it by him. One to nothing, top of the 4th inning from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. This is Joe Garagiola with Phil Rizzuto. 6th game of the World Series. Cardinals trying to nail it down today. Mantle leads off first. The pitch to Howard, swung on a bouncing ball. Maxwell has it at second base, over to first in time. Maxwell, a nice play. As he throws out Howard at first base, that ends the inning. So the score is St. Louis 1 and New York nothing. A fast double play. Richardson to Linz to Pepitone got the Yanks out of trouble in the first inning, and they didn't waste any time. And you might take a leaf out of their book and latch on fast to this World Series special from Gillette. It's a bargain opportunity to find out how clean and easy and smooth shaving can be. It's your chance to get 2 6-blade dispensers of Gillette stainless steel blades, 12 of them for only $1.50, and save 28 cents. That's weeks and weeks, yes, months of incomparable shaves. But it will only take one stroke to find out why this blade is America's #1 seller by far. Gillette guarantees you the best first shave of your life and more superbly comfortable shaves every blade than with any other blade, or your money back from Gillette. Look for this World Series special, but act fast. 12 Gillette stainless steel blades for only $1.50. You save 28 cents. Ken Boyer, Dick Grote, and Tim McCarver, the Cardinal batters here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. 1-0. Cardinals scored the run in the first inning. Flood singled to left field, and then Brock on the first pitch singled to center, and Flood stopped at third. Bill White then hit a hot shot at Bobby Richardson, who flipped to Linz, back to Pepitone for a double play with Flood scoring. And Boyer flied to left field to end the inning. And that's been the story of the scoring here at Busch Stadium. 1-0. Bottom of the fourth inning, Boyer waits. High, ball one. Cardinals have made 4 hits. Yankees 2. Popped up foul, straight back out of play. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Joe Schultz coaching at first base. You can hear him holler the words of encouragement to his hitter, Ken Boyer. Vern Benson, the coach at third base. Howard Paulette, a pitching coach. And Red Shanedeans, the other coach for manager Johnny Keane. There's a strike of fastball. Home plate is just about completely covered in shadows. The shadow of the light standard covers a part of the first baseline. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Swung on, foul ball, right field, on the roof. Boyer's got good enough power to hit that ball on the roof here in St. Louis. It's 310 down the line, 354 in right center, 425 in dead center, 379 in left center, and 351 in left field, right down the line. Struck him out. Boyer out on strikes, a foul tip held on to by Elston Howard, and Bouton has the first out in the bottom of the fourth, and here is Dick Grote. It's 3 strikeouts for Bouton. Simmons has struck out 4. Grote was called out on strikes the first time. And that's a bit unusual because one thing Dick Grote will do is swing that bat. The pitch. Fouled off right side. Strike 1. It's been a pitcher's battle so far between Simmons and Bouton. Baseballs all over this field. Howard had to chase one down. Richardson chased one down for the pitcher. Bouton ready. Right center field. Mantle going over. Maris going over fast. Maris is there and makes the play. Fly ball in the right center field. Looked like it might have plugged the gap, but that Maris really getting over there. Phillip switched to center field. Hasn't bothered him at all.
No, and he's going to be in center field for a long, long time to come for the Yankees, Joe.
Here is Tim McCarver, who is everybody's hero here in St. Louis. This youngster has really taken charge. He is 9 for 18. Curveball inside, ball 1. From Memphis, Tennessee. His father was on the police force and quit the police force so he could have more time to watch his son play Major League Baseball. There's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. They're playing McCarver just a little bit more to pull than they were earlier, the Yankee outfield is. 1-1 pitch. A let up, bounced foul down the first baseline. Joe Schultz makes the play. Boy, they got a bugler out in right field. Looks like he just missed a parade or something. He's been blowing since about 11:30. Somebody better tell him the band took off in the other bus. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1-0, bottom of the 4th. Jim Bouton. Now McCarver backs out as Bouton got ready, and Al Smith calls time. All kinds of excitement. And Bouton's still holding the ball, and Gomez says they can't hit it as long as you hold it. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Curveball is low and it's ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. One to nothing. St. Louis out in front. It's the bottom of the 4th. Bouton getting his sign. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Bouncing ball. Boyer can't get it. Linz will have to tough play. The throw is not in time. He's got another base hit. Linz had a tough play. McCarver scooting down that line. Got that ball by Boyer. Linz got rid of that ball. Couldn't get too much on it because he had to throw from the hole. And so McCarver has a base hit. He's 2 for 2. And he continues to get those base hits, Phil.
10 base hits in the ball game, and boy, that speed of his is really an asset, Joe, and especially when he goes with the pitches he did on that one to left field.
He just laid that bat on that ball. It hit the ground 3 times, and he was on. So it's Mike Shannon now with McCarver at first base. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. I'm sure you're all familiar with the World Series movies, and I tell you that McCarver, when he sees it, it's going to look like the life story of McCarver. He has been on base this whole series. Mike Shannon is out on strikes back in the 2nd. Big, powerful right-hand hitter. McCarver leads off the pitch. Strike is called on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bouton made a real good pitch on McCarver. Tim did not swing, just kind of laid that bat on the ball and beat the throw by Linz. Linz made a fine play to make it as close as he did. 1 ball, 1 strike. McCarver leads off. The pitch to Shannon, inside. There's a snap throw to first, but not in time. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mike Shannon playing before the home folks. Two balls and 1 strike. 2 outs. 1-0, bottom of the 4th, St. Louis out in front. McCarver a lead. The pitch to Shannon. Swing and a miss. And a strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Howard walks out in front of that plate. Bouton, a real battler on that mound. Gets a sign from Howard. McCarver leading off first. Bouton at the belt. Shannon waits. Here's the pitch. Foul back. Fastball. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shannon had a good cut at that fastball. Shannon twisting that bat around. Two balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs. 1-0. St. Louis leading. Bottom of the 4th. McCarver leading off at first base. Bouton Ready. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. A curveball. Shannon out on strikes. And the score is St. Louis 1 and New York nothing. Men, would you like the cleanest, quickest, easiest shaves in the world? It's really very simple. First, splash on lots of hot water. Really wet those whiskers. And then make them even wetter with moisture-rich Gillette Foamy, regular or menthol. Its tiny moisture bubbles super-saturate your beard. And Gillette Foamy is the only leading shave cream containing K34 hexachlorophene antiseptic. It cleanses your skin while you shave. Now, for the easiest first shave of your life, slip an incomparable Gillette stainless steel blade in your Gillette adjustable razor. Discover why this blade has become the #1 seller by far. Gillette guarantees you more superbly comfortable shaves every blade than with any other blade, or your money back from Gillette. And every shave can have a perfect ending. Splash on a dash of refreshing sun-up aftershave. Smells better, feels better, manlier. Women like it too. And that's it for real shaving luxury. Foamy, Gillette stainless steel blades, and new sun-up aftershave. Tom Tresh will lead it off. Top half of the 5th inning. 1-0. St. Louis out in front. Tresh bounced out his first time up. Tresh batting right-handed against the left-hander Kurt Simmons, a switch hitter. This Tresh, as is Mantle. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Nobody on, nobody out, top of the 5th. Yankees have made 2 hits. Cardinals have made 5. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. And you talk about a let-up. Simmons threw there like he had a string on it at the other end. At the right time, he just yanked the string. 1 ball and 1 strike. Outside, ball 2. That's the kind old Don Newcomb, when they wouldn't hit it, he'd call it a change of pace, and when they'd hit it, he'd call it a change of space. 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch. Foul ball out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Nobody out. Nobody on. Top of the 5th. Yankees trailing the Cardinals 1-0. Simmons and Bouton, a real pitcher's battle. The left-hander's ready. Tresh swings, hits one down the left field line. It is curving foul. That ball would have been trouble. Tresh got on in front of a curveball and pulled it foul down the left field line. The umpire down the left field line is Hank Soar of the American League. Al Smith, the American League, behind the plate. Sikori, National League, first base. McKinley, American League, second base. Burkhart of the National League, third base. Soar down left field line. And Vinnie Smith down the right field line. 2-2 pitch. Line drive, same spot. Lou Brock going over fast, near the line. He dives. It's a fair ball. It gets by him. 2 bases as it bounces into the stands. And Lou Brock comes in to say something to Hank Soar now. A ball got by him as he dove. It bounced into the stands. And it's a ground rule double. Hank Soar right on top of that play. Motion fair ball right now. Brock gave it a real good effort. Tell you, Phil, that would have been trouble if it doesn't bounce into the stands, because Brock was down, and I just wonder who would have retrieved it.
Well, that would have been an easy triple for Tresh, possibly an inside the Parker, because Flood was over in right center field.
So Tresh is on at second base now with the double, and here is Joe Pepitone. Pepitone will try to get at least that ground ball to the right side to pick up that base. The pitch. Swings and misses. Strike 1 as he tried to pull that ball. And they play Pepitone to pull that ball. He was robbed of a base hit on a fine play by Shannon. Here's the pitch by Simmons. Fouls it back. And it's strike 2. 1-0, top of the 5th. Tresh has just opened his 5th inning with a 2-base hit. And now Joe Pepitone's up there with the count of strike 2. Simmons has struck out 4. The base hit by Tresh was the 3rd Yankee hit. Richardson has the other 2. Simmons ready. Pepitone waiting. Simmons backed off for a minute. Gets a new sign. Now he's ready. Tresh leads off second. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. As Pepitone, trying to hit that ground ball, reached for a curveball, a big strikeout for Simmons. And it brings up Clete Boyer.
That was really a big strikeout, Joe. As you said, Pepitone, all he had to do is hit a ground ball the right side, advance Tresh to third.
Clete Boyer now, 1 out. 1-0. St. Louis out in front. Boyer flying to center field. He has other time up. Here's a pitch. It's low, ball 1. Tresh at second base. He is a tying run. Simmons taking plenty of time. The pitch. Outside, and it's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Clete Boyer waving at bat. Jim Bouton in the on-deck circle. Tresh leads off the pitch. It's a strike over the outside corner. 2 balls, 1 strike. There's 1 out. Tom Tresh at second base. St. Louis 1, New York nothing. Top of the 5th. The big 6th game of the World Series. The pitch. Swung on, fly ball, right field. It is a foul ball. Nobody can get it out of play into the stands. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Right over the Yankee bullpen. Boy, there's a lot of players in both bullpens. You take a look at one, you take a look at the other, and it look like juries that are off just watching like everybody else. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boyer waiting. Big pitch coming up, and here it is. Swung on, a bouncing ball up the middle. Maxwell to his right. He has it to plays the first base in time, and Tresh takes third. So now it's up to Jim Bouton with 2 outs. Ron Taylor begins to loosen up for the St. Louis Cardinals. Both managers, of course, will shoot the works today. Johnny Keane in just a little bit of a better position than Yogi, as there will be a tomorrow for Johnny Keane should he lose, but for Yogi there is no tomorrow. For him, it's spring training if he loses today. Jim Bouton with Tom Tresh at third base. Waits. Simmons delivers. Outside, ball 1. One ball, no strikes, 2 outs, 1-0, Cardinals leading. The pitch to Bouton. Swung on, line drive, a base hit, left center field. This game is tied up. In the left center field, Brock runs that ball down, and Bouton really hit a line drive. Nothing fluky about that one. And it's all tied up, 1-1, as Bouton just took charge. Boy, I'll say one thing, Phil. Throughout this series, the hitting by the pitchers, it's really come in clutch situations.
Bouton really helped his own cause there, Joe. That ball, nobody's hit a harder ball than that on the line in this series.
All tied up now, and here is Phil Linz. A double by Tresh. The ground ball by Boyer figures very prominently, although Tresh would have been able to score from second. Bouton drives in the run. Linz is 0 for 2. Here's a pitch. Strike. Caught the inside corner. Ron Taylor is throwing very hard, and he started quickly, so it could be that the Cardinals noticed something about Simmons. Here's a pitch. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. A lot of little tip-offs that a pitcher will give if you've been studying him all year. Maybe he picks the rosin bag up a lot. Maybe he starts checking defense more. 1-1 pitch. Swung on. Fly ball. Left field. Lou Brock is going back. Down with the glasses. He's got room. He's there. He makes the catch. At the middle of the 5th inning, the score is St. Louis 1 and New York 1. The
Swing, 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 swing. Swing, 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 swing.
The 1965 Plymouth Belvedere, a new way to swing without going out on a limb.
The Roaring 65.
65 Belvedere. Beauty, power, big car at a little price. 18 models in all. 65 Plymouth Belvedere. A new way to swing.
Swing, 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 swing.
Now with all the roaring 65s at your Plymouth dealers.
Something for everyone. Something for everyone. The Roaring 65.
We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
In baseball, the big spectacular is the World Series. In motion pictures, the big spectacular, Cleopatra. Cleopatra, the #1 attraction of all time, now at a theater near you at special popular prices. Bosley Crowther of the New York Times hailed it as the biggest thing that's happened in the realm of movies in many a year. See Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, Rex Harrison in Cleopatra at a specially selected theater near you. Ivy League football this Saturday at 1:40 on WCBS and WCBS-FM New York.
Bottom of the 5th inning, a brand new game, all tied up 1-1. And for the play-by-play, here is Phil Rizzuto.
Thank you, Joe. Dal Maxfield leading off. Flying to right field his first time at bat. Jim Bouton kicks, delivers. It's a curve, low, ball 1. On deck, Kurt Simmons. The tension is mounting in this ball game. 1-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bouton's next delivery, high and outside, ball 2, 2-0. Elston Howard rubbing up the ball, wanting Bouton to slow down just a little bit. Maxville, a right-hand batter. Maris over in right center field for Maxville. Bouton gets the sign from Howard. His pitch is right in there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Sun shining brightly here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The 2-1 delivery, hit in the air to right field. Mickey Mantle going back and makes a one-handed catch. That ball was over Mickey's head. He had to reach high and lean back to make that play on the cinder path just in front of the wall alongside the 322-foot sign. A good play by Mantle. Mantle, you know, cannot move quickly to the right or left. 1 out and the hand for Kurt Simmons. Simmons singled up the middle in the 3rd inning. Simmons backs him left-handed. On deck, Kurt Flood. Bouton's pitch, high and tight, ball 1. Here's the windup. Fastball high and away, ball 2. Bouton fell behind on Dal Maxfield 2-0. Got him on a fly to right. He's behind on Simmons now, 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the windup. The pitch is right in there. Strike called, 2-1. Bouton's 2-1 delivery popped in the air. The shortstop Phil Lynn's back on the edge of the outfield grass is there and takes it. It's 2 away. And that'll bring up Kurt Flood. Flood singled. leading off in the bottom of the first inning, and came around to score after Brock singled him in the third and Bill White hit into a double play. In the third inning, Flood fly to right field, and Kurt wants the umpire to take a look at the ball. With 2 out and nobody on, and the score tied 1-1 in the bottom of the fifth inning.
You know what hurts, Phil, is when you ask the umpire to take a look at the ball, and he says, you're going to hit 250 whether you use a good ball or a bad ball.
And Al Smith did throw that ball out of play. All right, the outfield straight away on Kurt Flood. Bouton's curve is low and outside, ball 1. On deck, Lou Brock. The 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1, 1-1. Bouton turns around, walks back out towards second base. Here's his 1-1 delivery. It's on the outside corner, strike 2 call. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just a little bit of wind blowing now. Curveball just misses the outside corner. The count's even 2-2. Bouton has slowed down quite a bit here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Seems to be rubbing his right shoulder and right arm, swinging it around over his head.
How can you tell when he feels good?
It is hard because he does that most of the time. Here's his 2-2 pitch. Inside. Brushes Flood back from the plate, and it's a 3-2 count. Neither pitcher has walked a man in this ball game. Been several 3-2 counts, but they've been able to come in with that vital pitch. And here's the payoff pitch to Flood. He checks his swing. It's ball 4. The first walk of the ball game. Kurt Flood at first. With 2 out, Pepitone moves over now to hold the bag against Flood. Howard out to the mound to talk with Bouton.
All he wants is a chance to throw somebody out, because anytime with 2 outs that a Flood or a Brock gets on, you've got to look for him to run.
That's right, and as Joe can tell you, you steal on the pitcher. You don't steal on the catcher. They get that jump on the pitcher, you've got the bag. Lou Brock, who rifled a single to center field his first time up, then flied out to center field in the third inning. Flood bouncing off first, the stretch by Bouton. The pitch, swing, and a foul tip back, strike 1. Brock had a good cut at a high inside fastball.
Something unusual, Phil. I just noticed Ken Burkhardt motioning to Bill McKinley that Flood can run. The umpires helping one another.
Anybody is thankful for any help they get here. Here's the pitch. It was pitch out, and the runner was not going. Bouton kneeled down after he delivered the pitch, and that ball didn't miss the outside corner as much as Howard wanted it to. Clete Boyer continues to play in on the infield grass with Brock up there. A 1-1 count to the left-hand batter. Flood bounces off first. Bouton checking the sign, taking a long time. Now he sets. Checks Flood. His pitch fouled back against the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Bill, you were a base stealer. What really stopped you? What took the spring out of your legs? When he kept throwing over there, or when he just would hold the ball?
When he would hold the ball. That's the worst thing that a base runner can have happen to him, is when that pitcher comes down to a set position and holds that ball. If they go through their regular motion, they got a set pattern, and real good base runners can pick up this little bit of help and enable them to get that running jump on the pitcher. But I used to hate those pitches that would hold the ball and make you wait, and then you'd be leaning back towards first base, not be able to get that jump.
I only asked you because I never had that problem.
Well, as a catcher, you would like that ball up, wouldn't you, or around?
Oh, I would always holler, stop him. Don't let him get that walking lead. Geoff Cross was good at that, getting a walking lead. Don't, stop him cold, and then, of course, you like to throw on a fastball. That's how you can tell a pretty good catcher, too, by the way. A safety first catcher will go to a lot of fastballs, but that good catcher, he doesn't care. He'll call curveballs.
All right, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Score tied 1-1. The pitch to Brock, curveball. He checks his swing. Throw to first base, and he's back just in time, and Flood had to hit the dirt that time. Flood was leaning towards second base as Brock started to swing, held up. And the count's even at 2-2.
With 2 outs, he'd be running 3-2, and with a guy like Flood, you have to look for him to run 2-2.
This would be a good spot, Joe.
Right here.
All right, here's the stretch by Bouton. Flood's going. The ball is a ground ball. Base hit to right center. This could be trouble. Flood around second, digging for third. They hold him up as Maris makes a beautiful throw from deep right center into the plate. Vern Benson held Flood up, but he had rounded the bag, and he was ready to go if he had gotten a green light. And Garagiola called that one beautifully, and I tell you, it would have been a close play at the plate because Maris was deep in right center, and though he made a beautiful throw, a 1-bounce throw right into Howard at the plate. That Flood can really motor. So once again, the 1-2 punch by the Cardinals have runners at first and third. With 2 out, and the batter is Bill White. White bounced into a double play his first time up. Flood scoring on the DP. Then he bounced to first base. Here's the stretch by Bouton. The pitch to White is a curve high, ball 1. White has hit the ball hard both times up. He was thrown out on a fine play by Pepitone in the 3rd inning. Roland Sheldon gets up again in the Yankee bullpen with this score tied 1-1 and 2 out and 2 on in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bouton sets. His pitch low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. When the Cardinals gather momentum, so do the fans here in St. Louis. And, of course, the Cardinal fans figuring that Bill White is really overdue. He has had 1 hit in 21 times at bat in this series. But, Joe, I love to have a fella like this White on the team that I'm playing with because even though he's not hitting, it hasn't bothered his fielding.
No, sir. He doesn't put his head down between his legs and call in the dogs, I'll tell you that.
All right, Bouton stretches, runners lead away. Pitch to White, a ground ball back to Bouton. He's got it. He runs over, makes the unassisted putout. Pepitone had broken towards second. And that Bouton was taking no chances. Nothing across for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 5th. And at the end of the 5th inning, the score is the Yankees 1 and the Cardinals 1.
Roaring 65, roaring 65, roaring 65, roaring 65. Something exciting, something inviting, something for everyone, the roaring 65.
Plymouth's Roaring 65s. Big plush Plymouth Fury, swinging Belvedere, compact Valiant, fastback Barracuda. 4 new kinds of Plymouth, 60 models in all.
Roaring 65, roaring 65.
Plymouth Fury, Plymouth Belvedere, Plymouth Valiant, Plymouth Barracuda. The Roaring 65s, now at your Plymouth dealers.
Something for everyone, the roaring 65.
The ground crew manicuring the infield now as they smooth it down, and the infielders love to see this. That field's pretty well chewed up after 5 full innings of playing. And now Bobby Richardson, who is 2 for 2 in this ball game, has 11 base hits in the World Series, the most of any player on either team in this series. Bobby singled to left in the 1st inning, stole second, but was stranded, and singled to center in the 4th inning to lead off, but could not advance.
It's Cardinal ground crew, Phil, right on the ball. They put new bags out for the second half of this game.
And they do it. They don't waste any time. All right, Kurt Simmons remains on the mound. Ron Taylor not warming up right now. Here's the windup by the left-hander. Pitch to Richardson, popped in the air to short left field. Dick Rote waving everybody away. He's there and makes the catch. It's one away. Richardson, first ball hitting, as he did his first time at bat, but this time pops to short. Brings up Roger Maris. Maris has struck out and popped to first base. Roger has had only 4 hits in 24 times at bat in the series. A 1-1 ball game in the top of the 6th. Simmons' first pitch just outside, ball 1. The outfield is deep and around towards right on Maris. On deck, Mickey Mantle. Simmons delivers. It's low and away, ball 2. 2-0. Simmons looks in for the sign. His pitch is fouled back up on the roof and out of play. And, Joe, it's still amazing to all the Yankees, as you talk to them, and to me up here, to see this infield play Maris just about straight away.
Boy, I know over in the American League, they really overshift. That right side looks like a meeting of the symphony orchestra. They're all over there.
2-1 on Maris. The curve is hit foul outside of first down the right field line. Count even at 2-2.
You know, I just wonder if it's had an effect on Maris.
I think it has, Joe, because even with the overshift in the American League, he can still pull that ball and get base hits through the infield. But here, it doesn't look like he's having that real good cut, and he seems to be trying to hit more straight away. 1 out, nobody on. The windup by Simmons. His pitch, slow curve hit deep to right field. That one is gone. Way if it stays fair, and it's a home run over the roof and way across the street, and the Yankees lead 2-1. Kurt Simmons had come in with a sidearm curveball, and Maris waited on it and really drilled it deep to right field over the roof. The first extra base hit for Roger Maris in this series. And he picked a great time to get it. It puts the Yankees out in front, 2-1. Brings up Mickey Mantle. Mantle has struck out and bounced into a force play. Simmons delivers a high fly to right field. This one could go way back. This one is up in the roof and out of play, and it went over the roof. Mickey Mantle hits one to right field over the roof. A lot more fair than Roger Maris's home run, but on 2 consecutive pitches, the M&M boys, Maris and Mantle, put the Yankees out in front 3-1.
And when they do it like that, it doesn't give your bullpen much of a chance to get up unless you're one of those guys that just can shake hands and be as hot as you'll get. Roger Craig is throwing fast and furious, but McCarver's going out to talk to Simmons, kind of slow down the pace a little bit and kind of take inventory here. Boy, that happened in a hurry, Phil.
That really happened. And as you say, Joe, the bullpen doesn't have too much time. And now there's a left-hander up there joining Roger Craig, the left-hander, Gordon Richardson. So both teams now with 6 base hits, but the Yankees got the 2 big bombs here in the top of the 6th. And they're leading 3-1. There's 1 out, nobody on. The batter, Elston Howard. Ellie has popped to second and bounced to second. Simmons delivers a slow curve hit high in the air to right field. Shannon can get this one, though. He moves in and makes the catch. So it's 2 away. And the batter, Tommy Tresh.
I know a lot of times you've heard it, Phil. I have 2 fellas come back and they say, listen, let's start waiting and go to the opposite field. And just wonder who was the guy who started for the Yankees, because Mantle went to the opposite field. Howard definitely was going that way.
Well, Joe, you had noticed something last inning when Simmons was in a little bit of trouble, and they had the Cardinal bullpen going. Maybe Johnny Keane thought he could get away with another inning or 2, but he got in trouble this inning. Tommy Tresh takes a pitch low, ball 1. Tommy is bounced to third, double to left. He scored the Yankees' first run in the 5th inning. Curve. The bat comes out of Tresh's hand, and that sets a World Series record, Joe.
Yes, sir.
The third base umpire, Kenny Burkhardt, picked that bat up about 60 feet beyond third base down the left field line as Trish swung and missed.
That Burkhardt took off like you thought it was a plane after him and the propeller had broken loose. He was really spinning out of there.
And now Tommy Tresh wants a little pine tar and rosin to give him a better grip on the handle of his bat.
Someday it's going to happen. A guy's going to throw a bat, an infielder's going to pick it up, throw it to first, and they're going to call the guy out.
I tell you, with their reflexes, they might do it.
And somebody will argue that he was safe.
1-1. The pitch, a ground foul outside of first. Jimmy Gleason knocks it down. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two out, nobody on. Kurt Simmons goes to the rosin bag. On deck, Joe Pepitone. The windup by Simmons. He kicks, delivers. It's strike 3 call. Tresh knew it. The Yankees come up with 2 big runs on 2 big home runs. And at the middle of the 6th inning, the score is the Yankees 3, the Cardinals 1.
Swing, 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 swing. Swing, 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 swing.
The 1965 Plymouth Belvedere, a new way to swing without going out on a limb.
The Roaring 65.
65 Belvedere. Beauty, power, big car at a little price. 18 models in all. 65 Plymouth Belvedere. A new way to swing.
Swing, 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 swing.
Now with all the roaring 65s at your Plymouth dealers.
Something for everyone. Something for everyone. The Roaring 65.
For the Cardinals, in the bottom of the 6th, it'll be Kenny Boyer, Dick Grote, and Tim McCarver facing Jim Bouton. The Yankees leading 3-1 in this 6th game of the World Series. A must game for the New York Yankees. In 1952, the Dodgers had the Yankees down 3-2, and the Yankees won the final 2 games at Ebbets Field. Yogi, who has been optimistic all year long, continues that optimistic viewpoint right through this World Series. He claims the Yankees can do it. Kenny Boyer fly to left and struck out. Bouton's curve is on the outside corner, strike 1 call.
Yogi didn't make a big deal about it either, Phil, before the game. When they asked him how he felt, he says, why, can't we win 2 games here?
Yog is short and to the point, and gives you those straight answers. The 1-strike curve, ground ball to second. Richardson on the big hop. Flips over to Pepitone, it's 1 away. Brings up Dick Grote. Grote struck out, fly to center field. Cardinals have had at least 1 hit in each of the first 5 innings. Had 2 in the first inning. Pitch to Grote is taken high, ball 1 as Grote bluffed a bunt. Boyer does not play in for Dick Grote. Grote not as fast as Flood or Brock or White. The next pitch right down the middle, strike called, 1-1. Bouton checks the sign. His pitch is high and away, 2 balls and a strike. Last inning, Bouton was taking a little more time between pitches. This inning, he's pitching a little more rapidly. Grote, with that closed stance, looks at the pitcher over his left shoulder. The pitch to Grote. A line drive to right center field. Mantle over, and he's got it. No! Wait a minute. He juggled that ball 3 times and finally caught it. He really had me fouled up. Mickey got a good jump on the ball, got his glove on it. It bounced out of his glove, hit it with his bare hand, and went up in the air again, and then finally caught it.
Phil, I think if you're scoring, you ought to give him 1 put out and 3 assists. He really bobbled that baby around. Maris said something to him, and I'll bet it was something to the effect of, listen, if you can't catch him, let the Sherman have him.
So it's 2 out, and here is Tim McCarver. Red hot all through this World Series. McCarver single to right and beat out an infield single. Spezio and Buchek loosening up down in the Cardinal bullpen. Tim McCarver, a left-hand batter. Bouton's pitch is hit high in the air to straightaway center field. Roger Maris moving in under it. Maris is there, and he's got it. An easy inning for Bouton, 3 up and 3 down. And now at the end of the 6th inning, the score is the Yankees 3 and the Cardinals 1. And now we pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Why make 2 CD2 oil additives? Because there are 2 kinds of cars. Old cars need CD2 oil treatment to eliminate smoking and restore power. New cars need CD2 oil detergent to free sticky valves and restore smoothness. For old cars or new, get CD2, a product from the Elamite division of Stuart Warner. Ivy League football game of the week, Cornell versus Harvard, this Saturday on WCBS and WCBS-FM, New York.
All right, Kurt Simmons loosening up out on the mound. For the Yankees, it'll be the bottom third of the order. Joe Pepitone, Clete Boyer, and Jim Bouton to face Kurt Simmons. Going into the 7th inning of this ball game with the Yankees leading 3-1. Joe Pepitone, line to right field, robbed of a base hit on a real fine play by Mike Shannon. Pepitone struck out in the 5th inning. The lights are on here at Busch Stadium, even though the sun is shining brightly. Pepitone swings, foul tips the ball, strike 1. And now Bonnie Schultz, the knuckleball thrower, and Ron Taylor, the hard-throwing right-hander, loosening up down in the Cardinal bullpen. In the Yankee bullpen, Whitey Ford loosening up. Pepitone runs up to bunt, takes it outside, 1-1. For the Cardinals, Simmons is scheduled to be the 3rd hitter next inning. And also, the reason that Spezio and Buchek were loosening up, Maxville's scheduled to be the 2nd batter next inning. Pitch to Joe on the outside corner, strike called. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
With Whitey Ford warming up, Phil, that really starts you buzzing. Should the Yankees win, will it be Stottlemyre he comes back with?
Stottlemyre or Downing, Joe. The curve is just outside. 2-2. But as you told the folks before listening in, there's no tomorrow for Yogi if they don't win this game, and it's a long winter. And all he can look forward to is spring training. So Yogi's got to shoot the works today. Pitch to Pepitone. Check swing, ground ball, foul. Frank Crissetti moving over and up with it. Crow fires it into the catcher. And Al Smith throws it out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out and nobody on here in the top of the 7th. The 2-2 pitch high. Ball 3, 3-2. The public address announcer is giving some of the records that Mantle has broken with that home run he hit last time. Up the curve is popped up. Bill White, coming over near the Yankee dugout, has got the room in foul territory. He puts it away, and it's 1 out. That brings up Clete Boyer. Boyer flied to center and bounced to second base. Jim Bouton has the warm-up jacket on, going over the bat rack to get his bat. Whitey Ford continues to loosen up down the Yankee bullpen. First pitch to Boyer. Taken outside, ball one. Cleat has worn that golf glove on his left hand just about all year. Simmons back quickly with a slow curve. Swing and a miss. Strike one, 1-1. That has been one of Simmons' most effective pitches all day, that change-up curveball. The 1-1 pitch. Line to left field for a base hit. Lou Brock over. He plays it off his shoulder, gets by him. Boyer around first, going into second. And Boyer is in at second base. And that ball took a wicket hop and hit Brock off the right shoulder. And Johnny Keane is coming out to the mound. So it's a single and an error charged to Lou Brock. And that was a tough error for Lou Brock. And Johnny Keane has signaled to the bullpen. Let's see who he wants. And it looks like Ron Taylor gets the call. Ron Taylor, who was so effective against the Yankees in his last relief appearance, will be coming on, and that's going to be all for Curt Simmons. Simmons has worked a total of 6 1/3 innings. He has allowed 7 base hits, did not walk anyone, has struck out 5, has been charged with 3 runs. And while Simmons leaves the mound and gets a good hand, we'll pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Champions of baseball, that's the Yankees and the Cards. Champion of motion pictures, Cleopatra. Now the #1 attraction of all time is yours at special popular prices. Bosley Crowther of the New York Times hailed it as the biggest thing that's happened in the realm of movies in many a year. Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, and Rex Harrison in Cleopatra. WCBS, AM and FM, New York.
All right, Ron Taylor is out on the mound, and he'll be pitching to Jim Bouton. Bouton, who was out on deck, has gone back in the Yankee dugout to relax. Bonnie Schultz continues to throw down in the bullpen.
All the announcements in the press box that you hear in the background, back-to-back home runs is a big topic of conversation. The last time it was done was in 1932, Ruth and Garrick in the 5th inning with a bright sun shining.
They were two pretty fair sluggers in their day, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. And, Joe, you know, here today at the game, one of the greatest catchers of all time, Bill Dickey. And you know he almost signed Tim McCarver and got him away from the Cardinals?
Listen, he was the one guy that was real high on him. I remember that because he kept raving about him and kept talking about this kid's desire. And, boy, he has shown that in this series. Of course, if Dickey don't know catching, who's going to know it?
All right, here is Jim Bouton. Bouton struck out, but then he lined a single to left center field in the 5th to drive in the Yankees' first run. Fouls one just below us. Strike one. Clete Boyer at second base. The Yankees lead 3-1. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Boyer at second is Curt Simmons' responsibility. Should he score in this inning, that run will be charged to Curt Simmons. Stretch by Taylor. His pitch, line to, beautiful play by Maxwell. Throws to Grote for the double play. Oh, that Dal Maxwell just took a double away from Jim Bouton and turned it into a beautiful double play. And now, at the middle of the 7th inning, the score is the Yankees 3, the Cardinals 1.
Compact, a compact, compact, a compact.
The 1965 Plymouth Valiant, the compact that hasn't forgotten why you buy a compact.
Ooh, the roaring 65. Boot-and-doot-and-doot-and-doo. Boot-and-doot-and-doot-and-doo.
65 Plymouth Valiant. 18 models, easy to handle, easy on gas. All wrapped up in a bright new package. 65 Plymouth Valiant. Best all-around compact.
Compact, a compact, compact, a compact, compact, a compact.
Now with all the roaring 65s at your Plymouth dealers.
Something for everyone. the roaring 65.
We get ready to go here in the bottom of the seventh inning with the Yankees leading 3-1. Mike Shannon will lead off for St. Louis. Bonnie Schultz continues to throw down in the Cardinal bullpen. Remember, the pitcher, Ron Taylor, is scheduled to be the third batter here in the bottom of the seventh for the Cardinals. Mike Shannon, been up twice, has struck out both times. Maxville is on deck, but he has just now been called back into the dugout by Johnny Keane and hustles back into the on-deck circle. Jim Bouton ready. His pitch to Shannon. Low, ball one. Cardinals have some pretty fair pinch hitters on that bench. Carl Warwick, who is 3 for 3, and Bob Skinner been mentioned too. There's a high drive to left. That ball is curving. Tresh over there, and that ball is out of play. And it would not have been quite far enough to have been a home run, but it was right near the wall in deep left field. A long strike on Mike Shannon. Howard now goes out to the mound to talk with Bouton.
A lot of times like this, you just want to settle him down because the long foul ball, I don't care what the game is going to unsettle you just a bit. And that ball looked like it was one of those nice room service fastballs up in his eyes, and he just got around on it. And Elston Howard, happy that Bouton was able to get away with the mistake.
That's right, Joe. It was right up around the letters. And not as much on it as Bouton has been throwing his fastball. Shannon now, who had gone all the way to second base, taking a little breather outside the batter's box. It's a 1-1 count. Bouton looks in for the sign. Curve is high, 2 balls and a strike. Bob Skinner is walking up and down the dugout with a bat in his hand. He is definitely a possibility as a pinch hitter. All right, Bouton ready for the 2-1 delivery. A foul again just below us. The count is even at 2-2. Cardinals scored their 1 run right in the very first inning. Back-to-back singles by Flood and Brock, and a double play ground ball hit by Bill White. The Yankees scored 1 in the 5th inning, and then back-to-back homers by Maris and Mantle have put the Yankees out in front 3-1. The pitch fouled just up on the roof and out of play. And Bonnie Schultz continuing to throw in the Cardinal bullpen. Nobody up in the Yankee bullpen. Yankee outfield straight away and deep on Mike Shannon. Bouton ready now for the 2-2 delivery. A foul again up on the roof and out of play. The roof is loaded here at Busch Stadium. Photographers, members of the press, a lot of people who couldn't get tickets. A new ball thrown out to Jim Bouton. Still 2-2 on Shannon. Skinner now practicing his swing down in the dugout. Pinch hitters have to get in the right frame of mind. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And for the 3rd consecutive time, Shannon is struck out by Jim Bouton. And now, we were talking about Skinner swinging a couple of bats, but here's Carl Warwick coming up to bat for Dal Maxville.
What do you think that Howard was telling Bouton right now, remembering that Warwick swung at the first pitch every time up?
Every time up, Carl Warwick, and every time he has swung at it, he has had a base hit. He is 3 for 3 and the other time he got a base on balls.
Warwick's got the perfect answer for it, too. He says if the first pitch is a good pitch that I can hit, why wait?
That's right. Pinch hitters just get up there once. All right, right-hand batter. Hitting 1,000 in this World Series. Bouton's pitch. He takes it outside, ball one. Ron Taylor is on deck with the warm-up jacket. And Jerry Bouton is loosening up down in the bullpen now. There's a high foul alongside third. Boyer might have room near the dugout, and he makes the one-hand catch. And, boy, that sun was really bothering him. So the Yankees finally retire Carl Warwick in this series. Clete Boyer having trouble with the railing in front of the Cardinal bullpen and dugout, rather, and also the sun. And now Charlie James is coming up to bat. And it looks like Johnny Keane is going to save Bob Skinner for a more vital spot, maybe with a couple of men on later in the ball game.
Boyer's still looking up at that sun and shading his eyes. It's a high sky here. There are no clouds to help these ball players. Yogi's coming out now to find out what the big conference is between Howard and Bouton. Sometimes in a spot like this, they just want to go over what the book says about a particular hitter. Every hitter is scouted, and looks like Bouton may say something like, Yogi's playing charades now. He wants the great big one up there.
That's Steve Hamilton. He went left-handed and tall, as high as he could reach.
So he's got a tall left-hander. Bouton may felt something, so that's the thing to do. Let your manager know. Give him a chance to make a move, and Yogi has got big Hamilton up out of that bullpen in a hurry.
All right, Charlie James, been up twice without a base hit in this series. Takes a pitch high and tight, ball one. I tell you, that Bouton fired that one, though, like there was nothing wrong with his arm. The 1-0 pitch is right in there. Strike called, 1-1. On deck, Curt Flood. The Yankees lead 3-1. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Bouton's curve is a little bit high. 2 balls and a strike. Steve Hamilton, who is as rough on left-hand batters as any left-hander in the major leagues. He comes by the way of first base. 2-1 pitch, foul tip off the mask of Elston Howard. Ellie takes the mask off to check it. That shakes you up a little bit, Joe, those foul tips.
Oh, boy. You ever have the feeling of flunking a cavity test? That's it, right there.
Ellie rubbing up the ball out in front of home plate with a 2-2 count on Charlie James. 2 out and no one on. Two balls, 2 strikes. Charlie James digging in. Bouton delivers. It's a ground ball, a high hopper. Boy, a nice play. Leaps in the air, throws to first in time for the out. Another nice play by Clete Boyer. 3 up, 3 down. And at the end of the 7th inning, the score is the Yankees 3 and the Cardinals 1.
Move up to Chrysler. The most beautiful car in town this year. Drive Chrysler. You get comfort all around.
Chrysler, model 1965. The most beautiful Chrysler ever built. 18 feet of comfort, 2 tons of security. And 7 Newport models are priced at only a few dollars a month more than some of the most popular smaller cars. That's why when your Chrysler dealer says, "See us, we deliver," he means it.
You like the low prices, big values, now easier to own. Move up to Chrysler, the smart new Chrysler. Go out and make your move out today.
Your Chrysler dealer invites you to test drive the all-new, completely different 1965 Chrysler. He'll show you firsthand why Chrysler is the people's choice. Out on the mound, the knuckleball throwing right-hander Barney Schultz. And Jerry Bouton has gone in to play second base in place of Dal Maxfield, who was taken out for a pinch hitter. So Bonnie Schultz, who has not been too successful in this World Series, but he sure was the last part of the season for the Cardinals. Johnny Keane says that without Bonnie Schultz, the Cardinals would never have made the pennant this year. And Schultz will be pitching to the top of the Yankee order. Linz, Richardson, and Maris. Phil Linz is 0 for 3. Line to left, struck out, and fly to left. Yankees 3, Cards 1 here in the top of the 8th inning. First pitch to Linz is a knuckleball, strike one, and that ball got by Tim McCarver and rolled back to the screen. A ball that tough to catch is almost impossible to hit. Bob Humphrey, a right-hander, and Gordon Richardson, a left-hander, down in the Cardinal bullpen. Next pitch to Linz, a knuckleball fouled back to the screen. Strike two. Bob Humphreys, little right-hander. Schultz wants a new ball from plate umpire Al Smith. McCarver giving it a good rubbing-up job.
I made a specific point of asking Barney whether it's a knuckleball or a fingernail grip, Phil. I know I talked about it the other day, but in case anybody's wondering, he throws it with his fingernails, and he's got to have them a certain length, a certain feel. It's a very specific thing.
Very delicate, too. There's a thrown bat, base hit. Phil Linz threw his bat at that ball and got good wood on it and lined a single to left field. He was fooled on the pitch. The bat went halfway out to the mound. And there is something tough to do. A base hit for Linz. And here is Bobby Richardson. Bobby single to left, single to center, pop to short.
With that knuckleball pitcher, he now becomes a luxury because it's tough to throw anybody out when you got to worry about catching that knuckleball. And with Richardson up there, you can look for anything. That brass ring may be up right now. Watch Linz.
All right, Linz leads away. White holding him close. The stretch, the pitch to Bobby. He squares around, bunts in front of the plate, but foul. No, it's a fair ball. He tags Richardson, and Linz heads up, went to second base. That ball bounced right on home plate, and McCarver reached for it, grabbed it, dropped it, and then Al Smith called it a fair ball, and had Linz not been on his toes, they'd have had an easy double play because Richardson stopped running.
If Richardson runs into that ball, he's out right now in fair territory, and they don't pick up the big base. The Cardinals are trying to claim that, but Al Smith right on top of his no-sir. McCarver had to tag him, and so they get the sacrifice bunt. Matter of inches, but a big play.
A real big play, and here's Roger Maris. Maris had struck out and popped to first before homering over the roof in right field. Stretch by Schultz. Pitch to Maris. Knuckleball over. Strike called. Phil Linz down at second base. And you got to keep an eye on Linz. He's liable to do anything. Stretch by Schultz. His pitch is low. 1-1. Dick Grote trying to hold Linz close at second because you give Linz enough lead and he'll go. As Joe told you, that knuckleball is tough to hold for the catcher, and he's got to get a good grip on it to throw the ball. Here's the stretch. Pitch, ground foul outside of first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The amazing thing is that every hitter knows what's coming. Schultz is going to throw that knuckleball, but they still can't do too much for you. Now Roger Maris wants the second base umpire, Bill McKinley, to move out of his line of vision. And McKinley moves. And now the center fielder, Kurt Flood, wants McKinley to move. He's going to have to dig himself a hole, Joe.
You ought to get mad and just go on home, walk right out of the park.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Phil Linz leading off second base. Stretch by Schultz. His pitch is outside. That evens the count at 2-2. Now the National League umpires come in front of the bag. Ready for the 2-2 pitch. Here it is, and it's taken outside. Ball 3. Full count on Maris.
Schultz goes to the rosin bag. That Hoyt Wilhelm in the American League throws that fingertip knuckler too, Joe, and he's got a great one. Ready for the payoff pitch to Maris. Here it is, and it's a ground ball to second base. Buchek up with it on a big hop, throws to White. Moving to third is Phil Linz, and there's 2 away. The batter, Mickey Mantle. Mickey will be batting left-handed for the first time in this ball game. Batting right-handed against Simmons. He struck out, hit into a forced play, and then homered. And they're going to put Mantle on. They wasted no time. 4 straight ones to Mickey Mantle. And this will be the first walk given up by Cardinal pitchers in this ball game. Mickey Mantle getting an intentional pass. Phil Linz is taking a lead at third. He's ready to go. Schultz might be throwing knuckleballs to keep in practice and throw one away. There's ball 4. Mantle at first, Linz at third. 2 out, here's Howard. Elias popped to second, bounced to second, and flied to right field. The Yankees lead 3-1. We're in the top of the 8th inning of this 6th game of the 1964 World Series. On deck, Tommy Tresh. White holding the bag against Mantle. Here's the stretch by Schultz. His pitch low and outside, ball 1. And McCarver continues to call that knuckleball, Joe, even though with a runner at third.
He's got to go down the drain with it. He can't switch off now. He's in trouble. And the thing about him, Phil, he's making sure that he's getting his body in front of it as much as he possibly can.
Stretch by Schultz. His pitch swing. Foul tip held by Schultz, rather by Tim McCarver. 1 ball, 1 strike. Linz leads off third, Mantle off first. The pitch, foul tip at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, I can really appreciate this McCarver, the way he's doing. I'm sure everybody watching him here does. Keep in mind that if that ball gets through the infielder, there's an outfielder out there. If it gets by the outfielder, there's a fence. But when you're catching a knuckleball and it gets by you, there's nobody back there but a manager wanting to know what happened, and you don't have time to explain because he's not going to give you a chance. McCarver's hanging tough right with this Morning Schultz knuckleball, which I'm sure has had McCarver waking up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning many a time.
All right, Joe. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Elston Howard. Stretch by Schultz. His pitch, line to center field. That's in for a base hit. Linz scores. Mantle holds at second. And the Yankees lead 4-1. And Howard hit that knuckleball right off the end of the bat. So the strategy that time did not pay off as they put Mantle on to pitch to Howard. And it brings up Tommy Tresh. Tresh has bounced to third, doubled to deep left field and scored and struck out. Tommy also batting left-handed for the first time today. He and Mantle switch hitters. Howard at first, Mantle at second with 2 out. Schultz delivers. It's a check swing low, ball 1. On deck, Joe Pepitone. So the hit by Linz, throwing the bat at the ball, has been a big one here. There's a throw to first, and they almost got him. What a beautiful pick-off play. Joe, he picked me off up here.
That's the sign play. Bill White, boy, he was laying back there like nothing was going to happen, and all of a sudden fire broke out, and he was in behind Elston Howard. Fine play. Sikori right on top of that play. No argument by anybody, so... Man, that was close, wasn't it?
Boy, that was really something. And Howard had a real big lead at first. Just missed getting him. The pitch is low, ball 2, 2-0.
You know, Phil, for a knuckleballer, this Schultz, he doesn't throw too often to the bases, but when he throws, it's pretty effective. In a crucial game with Cincinnati, he picked Veda Pinson off, and here he about had Elston Howard.
Schultz sits. Delivers, it's over. Strike call. Of course, what crossed me up, he never looked at first, as you say. It was a sign play, and I guess the third baseman, Kenny Boyer, gave it to him.
Either he or McCarver. That's one of those plays that when it works, great, but if he missed the sign, you can see what happens.
That ball to be still rolling around right field.
Oh, boy.
Ready now for the 2-1 delivery. Here it is, and it's a foul back of the plate. That evens the count, 2-2.
Boy, Mantle had a tough time starting off second base that time.
He really does. As a matter of fact, he had a tough time on Howard's base hit because with 2 out, you figure if he's got a good jump, go to third easy. He's running all the way. But you can see him really starting like in slow motion and then picking up speed. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 1 run in. Here in the top of the 8th, the Yankees lead it 4-1.
That ball's been rubbed up 3 times. The umpire, McCarver, and now Schultz, and I think I've been rubbed up so much I'm going to rub it right out of play.
All right, Bonnie Schultz. Ready now. Mantle leading off second. Howard off first. Here's the pitch. It's taken outside. 3-2, and everybody will be running. Mantle holds up the 2-out sign to Elston Howard. Full count on Tommy Tresh. The stretch. The runners go. The ball is popped foul and coming back out of play into the crowd. Mantle walking back to second. Howard back to first. Schultz again giving the ball a good rubbing up. Goes to the rosin bag. Now looks in for the sign. And once again, we'll have the payoff pitch. Here it is, way outside. Pops out of McCarver's glove, and the bases are loaded. And Johnny Keane is coming out. And boy, that Keane doesn't waste any time. And he pointed to the left arm. With Joe Pepitone coming up, he wants the left-hander coming in. And while we have the left-hander coming in from the bullpen, we pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Why make 2 CD2 oil additives? Because there are 2 kinds of cars. Old cars need CD2 oil treatment to eliminate smoking and restore power. New cars need CD2 oil detergent to free sticky valves and restore smoothness. For old cars or new, get CD2, a product from the Alamite division of Stuart Warner. Ivy League football, game of the week, Cornell versus Harvard, Saturday at 1:40 here on WCBS and WCBS-FM, New York.
Gordon Richardson has come out on the mound to do the pitching for the Cardinals. He's the 4th Cardinal pitcher this afternoon. Richardson making his 2nd series appearance. He has worked a total of 1/3 of an inning, allowed 2 hits and 2 runs, both of them earned. Has walked 2, hasn't struck out anybody. And the left-hander will be facing the left-hand hitting Joe Pepitone. Joe 0 for 3 in this ballgame, is lined to right, struck out, and popped out to first base. Yankees have Mantle at third, Howard at second, Tresh at first. 1 run in here in the top of the 8th, New York leading the Cardinals 4-1. Elston Howard having a little chat with Dick Grote.
Phyllis, Richardson won't overpower you. He's got good control. He relies heavily on breaking stuff.
You know, when he started to walk out there, he looked a lot like Bobby Shantz.
Does remind you of Shantz. A little bit taller.
Uh-huh. All right, Richardson is ready. Pepitone steps into the batter's box. First pitch to Joe is a curve, strike one. He started to swing, held up, but the ball nicked the corner.
Well, I think one of the great descriptions of all time was Red Barber's description of Bobby Shan. Said when he finished pitching, he looked like a bar of used laundry soap.
Another curve, low and outside. 1-1. And you're talking about one of the real great fielding pitchers of our time, Bobby Shan. One ball, one strike, two out. All three runners leading away. Richardson's curve high and tight, ball two, 2-1. No place to put Pepitone without forcing in a run. Richardson checking the sign from Tim McCarver. Winds, delivers, foul, back out of play. 2-2. Bob Humphreys, who had sat down for a while, is up again now in the Cardinal bullpen. He's a right-hander. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Curve foul, just off the end of the bat. This sixth game being played under bright, sunlit skies here in St. Louis, Missouri. Mantle, Howard, Tresh lead away. Richardson kicks, delivers a curve, foul tipped, and in and out of the glove of Tim McCarver. That was a tough play for McCarver. Curve was low. So Pepitone gets a life. Gordon Richardson taking the sign from in back of the pitching rubber. Then when he gets it, he walks up, gets set. He delivers a curve hit deep to right field. This one is gone. A grand slammer for Joe Pepitone. Holy cow, did he hit that one. Joe Pepitone hits a grand slam home run, and the Yankees now lead 8-1.
Looked like a high curveball, Phil. He really jumped on it. He's one of the happiest guys because he had a tough time with it. But boy, look at that bench. He is just, and Bouton with a towel over his head, hugging him. That takes a lot of the pressure off right here.
I'll say it does. And Joe Pepitone has gone into the record books with a grand slam home run, tying a record held by quite a few. And here is Clete Boyer, the eighth Yankee to hit here in the eighth inning. He takes a pitch high, ball one. The Yankees have scored 5 times here in the top of the eighth, as the Cardinal relief pitchers have not been able to put out the fire. Pitch to Boyer, pop foul, and coming back into the crowd, out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike on Clete Boyer. Boyer is flied to center, bounce to second, and single to left. On deck is Jim Bouton. 2 men are out. The pitch is on the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I was interested in that. This is how many times in a series 2 grand slam home runs been hit. This is since '56.
The pitch is hit in the air to right field. Mike Shannon moving in under it. He's there and he's got it. 5 big runs for the Yankees in the top of the 8th inning. And now at the middle of the 8th inning, the score is the Yankees 8, the Cardinals 1.
See us. We deliver. The most beautiful new car. Chrysler 65. That's our car. And it could be yours. The most beautiful Chrysler ever built. See us. We deliver the car with 18 feet of comfort, 2 tons of security, more room, a better ride. See us. We deliver the big car that's easy to own. Easy to own because 7 Chrysler Newport models are priced only a few dollars a month more than some of the most popular smaller cars. Isn't this your year to move up? Then move up to Chrysler. See us. We deliver.
Join the car buyers who are making the easy move up to the all-new Chrysler. See your Chrysler dealer. He delivers. We get ready to go now in the bottom of the 8th inning, as the Yankees broke the game wide open with 5 runs in the top of the 8th. We take a commanding 8-1 lead here in the bottom of the 8th, and it'll be the top of the Cardinal order, Flood, Brock, and White, to face Jim Bouton. Flood singled to left and scored the Cardinals' only run in this game in the first inning. Fly to right in the 3rd, walked in the 5th. And that is the only walk given up by Jim Bouton. Here's Bouton's first pitch. It's high, ball 1. Yogi Berra had Steve Hamilton loosening up last inning, but nobody loosening up now in either bullpen. Outside with the fastball. 2 balls, no strikes.
Howard motioning to Bouton to come directly overhand with that big lead. The base on balls is what you want to stay away from. Just throw strikes. And sometimes unconsciously they let up, and Howard staying right on top of this young right-hander.
This is the time they want them to earn their way on first base. There's a fastball low, and it's ball 3. 3-0. And there'll be a little stirring around. Yep, there it goes down in the bullpen. Let's see who's getting up. It's Big Hamilton again. The next pitch is in there. Strike call, 3-1. And now Ralph Terry gets up along with Steve Hamilton. Hamilton the left-hander, Terry the right-hander. Bouton's 3-1 pitch. Low, ball 4. And Flood has walked for the second time in this game. Brings up Lou Brock. Single to center in the first inning. Fly to center in the 3rd, and single to center again in the 5th. Pepitone not bothering to hold Flood too close to first base, playing about 6 feet in back of him. Boyer, though, is in at 3rd, looking for anything. Bouton sets, delivers a line drive to right center field. Mantle digging. He can't get this one. It's off the wall, bounces past Mickey. Flood is being held at 3rd base, and Brock is in with a stand-up double. And I want to tell you, Joe, he rifled that one.
Yes, he did. That ball was well hit, as they kind of figured that Bouton may just lay one in there to try to get ahead of him. He jumped on to get something going. And Yogi Berra is coming out of the dugout, walking very slowly. And with what went on the inning before, Phil, I wouldn't be surprised for a quick move here by Yogi, even though he's got a 7-run lead. Once it gets going, those bats can get contagious, and Yogi wants to stop it before it does. He's got Hamilton, a left-hander, and he's got Terry, a right-hander, warming up.
Well, as you said there, Joe, Yogi saw what happened when the Yankees' bats got hot in the top of this inning, and the relief pitchers couldn't stem the tide. And, of course, Bouton, who has pitched a real strong ball game.
All managers like to see their pitchers finish naturally, and it's always that one more man business, and that could be what Yogi has sent out as a warning that one more guy, and you're going to be out of here. And a lot of times that's enough to get that pitcher going.
That's right. Remember in New York, Yogi did the same thing, talked for quite a while, walked slowly back to the dugout. Then as he got to the dugout, came popping out again. But let's see what happens. Bill White steps into the batter's box. White hit into a double play, bounced to first, hit back to the box. But looks like Bouton's going to hang in there. Runners lead off 2nd and 3rd. There's no one out. The pitch to White is low, ball 1.
With Bouton getting that big base hit, Phil, to tie it up, it's almost like Yogi's saying, I want you to finish this game, but I'm not going to jeopardize it. And he may be leaning just a little bit to leave him in. He's got a 7-run lead.
All right, Bouton ready. His pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals now trying to go for that long ball. Yankees have 3 home runs today. 1 by Maris, 1 by Mantle, and the grand slammer by Pepitone. Bouton checks the sign. Change of pace, strike two, and he had White fooled that time. Bill White way out in front. And Bouton has not been using that changeup as much as he did in the first game he pitched against the Cardinals. But he sure used it in a great spot there. Flood at third, Brock at second with no one out. Bouton winds, delivers a curved ground ball, and Pepitone's got it. Wheels around, flips to Bouton, in time to get White. A run scores, and that makes it an 8-2 ball game. White is credited with an RBI on that ground out. Moving to third on the play, Lou Brock. Pepitone made a good play again on Bill White, tossing him out. Flood has scored both the Cardinal runs in this ball game. Brings up Kenny Boyer. Boyer flying to left, struck out, bounced to second. Perry and Hamilton still throwing in the Yankee bullpen. Pitch to Boyer is a curve right in there, strike one call. On deck, Dick Grote. Here's Bouton's next pitch. It's low. One ball, one strike. Bouton's rhythm might have been off early in the game. He wasn't losing his hat near as much as he's losing it here now. Brock leads off third. Pitch to Boyer, popped up. Joe Pepitone in foul territory is under it and makes the catch between home and first. Two away, and the batter will be Dick Grote. Grote is 0 for 3, struck out, fly to center, line to right.
I think it's pretty obvious, Phil, that since Yogi's last visit, he wasn't out there checking on Bouton's health. It looks like he let out a pretty good blast, and Bouton's really been throwing.
You're absolutely right, Joe. He's throwing harder now, or just as hard now as he was in the early part of the game. Yankees 8, Cards 2, with 2 out in the bottom of the 8th. Ground ball hit to short. Linz backs up on a big hop. Throws to first in time to get Dick Grote. The Cardinals pick up a run, and now at the end of the 8th inning, the score is the Yankees 8, the Cardinals 2.
Your Imperial dealer invites you to meet the incomparable Imperial, vintage 1965. A very special luxury car. One of America's most spacious cars, and the most quiet. The interior is trimmed in rare walnut. Virtually every power assist is included as standard equipment. There is even a master gauge to watch the other gauges. Enter the quiet world of the incomparable Imperial, a world of luxury no other car can offer.
Take time to discover the many important exclusives offered by the 1965 Imperial. See it today at your Imperial dealer. Well, the 5th pitcher for the Cardinals is out on the mound right now. Bob Humphreys, a right-hander. And he'll be pitching to Jim Bouton, Phil Linz, and Bobby Richardson as we get ready to play in the top of the 9th inning. In the Yankees' big 5-run 8th inning, they actually came up with 2 big breaks in that inning. Phil Linz, with 2 strikes on him, threw his bat at a knuckleball he was fooled on and got the good wood on it and lined it to left. What appeared to be an easy out, and then Richardson, in sacrificing, bounced right in front of the plate. McCarver had the ball, but it popped out of his glove. He picked it up and tagged Richardson. And had Linz not gotten a second base, Maris hit a ground ball to second that could have resulted in a double play, and the Yankees could very well have been out of that inning without a run. But as it is, they picked up 5 and lead here now, 8-2. Here's the first pitch to Bouton. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Bouton struck out. Line to single to left center and hit into a double play.
Some question, too, Phil, whether Richardson had run into that ball. There's been a little interference and called him out. He wouldn't have got that base, so that's close.
True. Next pitch is over. Strike 2 called. 0-2. They say baseball is a game of inches, and we've seen it here today. The two-strike curve, right in there, strike three call. And I'm sure Yogi did not want to see Bouton on base in this inning.
And if they keep throwing him curveballs like that, Yogi's not going to see him on base.
All right, here's Linz, line to left, struck out, fly to left, and single to start the Yankee rally in the top of the eighth. Funny windup by this Humphreys. The pitch is a strike call. I've never quite seen a windup like this, Joe.
He hides that ball real good. It's hard to pick up. Last minute when you pick it up.
Double pump this time. Pitch, ground ball to third. Big hop to Kenny Boyer. Fires to Bill White. It's 2 out. And that brings up Bobby Richardson. Bobby single to left in the first inning, stole second. Single to center in the fourth. Popped to short and sacrificed. He's 2 for 3. Has 11 base hits in this series. 2 out, no one on. It's to Bobby. Foul back out of play in the upper deck. Humphreys goes to the rosin bag. Now he winds. Again, the double pump. Pitch, a ground ball. Nice play by Kenny Boyer to his left. Throws to first for the out. And if Boyer had not caught that ball, Richardson would have had an infield single. So it's 3 up and 3 down. And at the middle of the ninth inning, the score is the Yankees 8, the Cardinals 2.
This is Joe Garagiola. You know, in sports, a lot of people think it's the spectacular play that counts. The ninth inning homer, the grand slammer, the shoestring catch. Important? Sure. But dependable, steady performance is the real thing. Your Chrysler Plymouth dealer knows this, too. And that's why he really cares. Not only about cars, but the people who drive them. His service makes you feel like part of the team. Customer care, he calls it, with a customer relations manager to help solve your problems, to follow up every sale, to make sure the customer's happy. Customer care means treating your car right, too, with the right mechanics, the right tools, and only Mopar Chrysler parts. See your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, a guy who keeps on caring. And right now, your Chrysler Plymouth dealer offers a free 52-page TV football almanac. Inside are rules, lineups, charts, and pictures for greatest enjoyment of the college games. Brought to you Saturdays on NBC TV by Chrysler Corporation. Just ask your Chrysler Plymouth dealer for it.
Well, the bottom of the ninth inning, the Cardinals trailing 8-2. And their first hitter will be Tim McCarver, who is 2 for 3. Single to right, beat out an infield single, and fly to center. Jim Bouton been in there all the way for the Yankees, but the Yankees now have their bullpen going. The left-hander Steve Hamilton and the right-hander Ralph Terry. McCarver batting an even 500 in this series. He has 10 hits in 20 at-bats. Jim Bouton ready to go. His pitch is inside, ball 1. Fastball on the outside corner, 1-1. Bouton ready. Curve, ground ball, foul outside of first. Nice play by Pepitone. Oh, he cut the pie on that one. He didn't even know he had it, Joe.
Ah, that grand slam will make you do it, boy, like you're leading a parade.
As a matter of fact, anything Joe does, especially here in St. Louis, the fans really give him a lot of riding. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McCarver digging in. Foul back to the screen. Still 1-2. Yankees came on late here in this ball game, scoring 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 5 in the 8th. Bouton's change of pace popped in the air. Richardson going back, backing up, still backing up and making the catch in short right center field. One man out. The batter, Mike Shannon. Shannon has been up 3 times and has struck out all 3 times. Bouton's pitch is high and outside, ball 1. Howard walks halfway out to the mound and tells Bouton, keep firing that ball, don't let up.
Bill Maher used to have a great expression, Phil. He'd always say, don't go to thinking, just go to throwing. I'll do the thinking with a 7 or 6 run lead.
Foul back on the screen. Bill Maher was quite a manager, Joe.
Oh, he was probably the most... He understood, I think, ball players better than any manager I know. You played for him.
Yes, I did at Kansas. Great man.
Oh, what feeling he had for the ball player.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Nobody on here in the bottom of the 9th. Bouton still doing exercises out on the mound. His pitch is hit deep to right field. Mantle going back. That ball is off the screen. And Shannon rounds first, starts, and then goes back to first. Shannon was undecided. In a close ball game, he'd have gone all the way to second, but right here, he played it safe. His run is not that important. Shannon singles high off the screen in right field.
That's why that big lead is so important. It's the best defense in the world because it makes the other club play station-to-station baseball now. They got to hit the ball, stop, look, and listen.
The first pitch is lined to left field, a base hit. Jerry Bouton on the first pitch, and Shannon's trying for third, and he crossed up Tresh there. Now, Shannon did not go to second on what appeared to be a cinch double, but he turned second and went to third. And Tommy Tresh just held the ball saying, why is he going to third? But he's in there. Man, if he had been thrown out, he would have got a little lip service from Johnny Keane, but a single left. And now Bob Skinner is coming up to pinch hit. Yogi's got a foot on the second step of the dugout. If he gets any higher, that's going to be all for Bouton. So Jerry Bouton wasted no time.
Looks like Yogi's going to make a move with his left-hander. He's been waiting to get Hamilton in, it looks like. Skinner, the left-hander. And the way he's walking out there and looking towards the right field bullpen, it looks like he's going to make a move and give this young right-hander some help.
Well, Yogi doesn't want Lightning to strike twice in the same place, and he's called for the left-hander, I believe, Joe.
Hamilton has been warming up for a couple innings now, so he should be good and ready for him.
So the big left-hander is coming on. So right now we pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Champions of baseball, that's the Yankees and the St. Louis Cardinals. Champions of motion pictures, that's Cleopatra. And now the #1 attraction of all time is yours at special popular prices. Bosley Crowther of the New York Times hailed it as the biggest thing that's happened in the realm of movies in many a year. Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, and Rex Harrison in Cleopatra, now at a specially selected theater near you. Don't miss it. Ivy League football game of the week, Cornell versus Harvard, Saturday at 1:40 here on WCBS and WCBS-FM, New York.
From these Cardinal fans, real ball fans out here in mid-America. And Steve Hamilton, big sidearm throwing left-hander, out there on the mound. He'll be pitching to the pinch hitter, Bob Skinner, who was a left-hand batter. Bouton worked 8 1/3 innings. He allowed 9 hits, walked 2, struck out 5, and thus far has been charged with 2 runs. But Shannon at third and Bouton at first are Bouton's responsibility should they score. Steve Hamilton, who is 6 feet 7 inches tall, and you know, Joe, He said he was too small to play NBA basketball. He was on that great Laker team with George Mikan. And he said they bounced him around under that basket so much that he had to quit.
I don't know about that, but I watch him throw now, Phil. I tell you, he gives you the feeling you're hitting uphill.
He does, a big boy, and to left-handers, he has been rough all year. Bob Skinner digging in at the plate. Buchek at first, Shannon at third. One man out in the bottom of the ninth. Yankees lead 8-2. Here's the pitch to Skinner. A curve low and away, ball one. Runners lead off first and third. Curveball, ground ball up the middle, and that's through for a base hit. One run scores, and Buchek holds it second, and it's an 8-3 ball game. So Bob Skinner didn't seem to have any trouble with the left-handed slant to Steve Hamilton as he bounces one up the middle. And these Cardinal pinch hitters continue to come through in this series. A run batted in for Bob Skinner. That run is charged to Bouton. And here is Curt Flood. He is singled. Fly to right and walked twice. He's also scored twice in this game. It's now an 8-3 ball game in favor of the Yankees. And now Pete Mickelson gets up to warm up alongside Ralph Terry. The pitch to Flood, a swing and a miss, strike one. On deck, Lou Brock. Cardinals break up their right and left-hand hitters pretty well. They got a right-hand hitter, left-hander, left-hander, right-hander, right-hander, left-hander. Curve swing and a miss, strike two. He just did foul tip it. Held on to by Elston Howard. Al Smith gives the sign. 0-2 on Flood. Runners lead off first and second. Hamilton stretches. Pitch, ground ball, a short. Lands up with it, goes to Richardson for one. Back to first, double play. And so the Yankees ended with a double play as Hamilton is congratulated. One run across for the St. Louis Cardinals. The ball game is over, and the Yankees win it and even up the series at 3-3. And now, for the wrap-up of the ball game, Joe Garagiola.
And a tremendous ball game it was, Phil. If Bouton and Simmons hooked up here, and the whole story has to be the power of the New York Yankees and the fine pitching of Jim Bouton. Youngster right now walking across the field being congratulated by Frankie Crosetti. Simmons and Bouton hooked up, and you go back to a play back in the fifth inning. The Cardinals jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the very first inning on a base hit by Flood, one by Brock. White hit into a double play with Flood scoring. And then in the fifth inning, Tresh hit a double. Pepitone was out on strikes. Boyer then hit a ground ball. He was thrown out by Maxville to Bill White, but Tresh took third, and then Bouton got himself a line drive base hit to tie up this ball game at 1-1. In the sixth inning, Marison Mantle hit home runs, and so the Yankees took the lead, and then the eighth inning, they broke it loose with 5 big runs. They feature, of course, a grand slam home run by Joe Pepitone. Jim Bouton in a real tough ball game because for the Yankees, this was the game they had to have. There was no tomorrow for the Yankees. They had to win it. And Jim Bouton knew it. He went as long and as hard as he could possibly go. And he is the winning pitcher. He needed some help from Hamilton. He got it. A game-ending double play engineered by Phil Linz and Bobby Richardson. Here is the line score. 8 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the New York Yankees. Jim Bouton is the winning pitcher. For the St. Louis Cardinals, 3 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error. And Curt Simmons is the losing pitcher. So we're all evened up now, 3 games apiece. Tomorrow, who knows who will be the pitcher, because they're going to go with everybody. Before the game, as they were talking about it, Yogi was talking about Downing or Stottlemyre. Johnny Keane, of course, Gibson or Sadecki. They'll make that decision, the biggest one, of course, of the year, because in typical fashion, as these 2 ball clubs battled all year to get to a World Series, it goes down to the 7th game. And I know we kept talking about how it was a repeat of the 1960 World Series with the Yankees in Pittsburgh. And that went right down to the 7th game, and that's the way it is here. And so we'll be right back here tomorrow for that 7th game, and it'll be the Cardinals against the Yankees, which will be the best way to put it. As the Yankees won it this afternoon, 8-3. Our producer today was Ken McGregor, and our engineer was Howard Gunther.
This is WCBS and WCBS-FM, New York.